Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2021 Week 15. Picks against the spread, game previews, free money, winning teasers, apparently, after last week, because the whole world is going to hell, and all of a sudden Tim is hitting some free money plays, plus a Cust Corner mini halfway through the show. Want to recommend that everyone sub to Mayo Media Network. Smash the like button to the episode. Help us time code it down in the description. If you had missed the best of Cust Corner, which came out on Monday, shame on you. Go download it and go watch the show on YouTube as well, and help support us over at Mayo Media Network. The Fantasy Golf Championship is open for registration. $500,000 of guaranteed money in the prize pool for the giant one and done this year. Go to fantasygolfchampionships.com to check out and register and take some of my money in the race for the Mayo Cup. Now, I'm not providing all of the $500,000, which is guaranteed. I'll be in for like $600. So $600 of my money is going to be in there. Guaranteed for me, because I'm playing the max of the 5 entries. I'm going to lose them all because that's what I do. Additionally, subscribe to the newsletter if you want a head start on trying to keep track of who is in and who is out this week, as I am updating that every single day. You just click back, you get it sent to you, but you just go to the Substack site and click on it, and I have it updated every single afternoon. And if you are a sub to the newsletter, that means you get this show a night early, which next week might be even earlier because we might have to jumble around the record a little bit. Geoff Fienberg is on the line with me, coming off another winning week at 8-6, leading the four of us at 112-96 for the year. Really pulling out to a lead here. I watched football with you for the first time in like 5 years on Sunday, and I think I got the best possible outcome for a Chargers game.
No, I would disagree, but yes, it was nice to watch, see you on the weekend, to watch the games with you. And I was nervous about going out, but the only reason I went out is because I felt like the Giants were a cream puff. And I feel like had you gotten like a full Chargers experience, that probably would have been the best thing for you guys. But I'm happy it was a pretty stress-free Charger game. So I got to sort of just, be relaxed and enjoy it. And there weren't many important moments. So that was fun.
I like the stress-free viewing experience with Geoff Fienberg. I've been there for the Chargers blowing it late Geoff Fienberg experience. And I do enjoy your 5 count at the end of every play to see if a flag comes up. That was new to me. I really like that.
Yeah, no, I always sort of do that. Yeah, third down, big plays. You can't enjoy any moment watching a football game. I count like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I before I'll allow myself to enjoy a play because the flags come. And I know like there's just some, Pat, I'm not going to say I worked at CBS Sports, but I promise you it's not a lot different. The hiring processes are not a lot different. And I know a lot of skis bots who have been hired to do Chiron for big games. Okay, people, you don't know what Chiron means? That's like the score. That's the ticker. That's the flag, that flag thing that comes up that breaks your heart or gives you a second win. It's always, it's low man on the totem pole. Okay, it's like a nut low job. It's an introductory job. This guy sometimes, we've had all bad. They don't even know what they're doing sometimes. So I'm always waiting for some nut low staffer to break my heart or a ref to break my heart. So I always add a count onto a play before I'll celebrate anything.
The Coin is in studio with me, and they are not doing so well. They are now in last place in terms of the pick, 6-8, 99-101 for the year, because it turns out last week a certain member of this show beat everyone, going 10-4, hit a super lock at the last second, upending Geoff's super lock, and won a free money teaser. But the most exciting news of it all, after Netflix released the trailer for their new Sean Payton movie, where Kevin James plays Sean Payton somehow next year on Netflix, or maybe even Amazon Prime, Cliff Kingsbury will be portrayed by Tim Cust.
Tim Cust.
That's not my name. But yeah, that'd be pretty good. I will say it was weird not to watch football with you this week, but I did get Jets on the main screen. which would never have happened if you were there.
That sounds sad.
I got Jets Saints on the main screen. It was tough. I mean, it was important, and it was a game that mattered to me, but
to no one else in the world.
Tim went 9. Tim is, I mean,
and the
Tim
free
is
money
getting
hit
whooped this year, guys. But he was 9-5 last week, 10-4 this past week. He's gonna finish in last, but he's gonna spend the whole winter, Pat, telling you that he ended strong. And it just means, big things.
It really does.
Ahead. But yeah, credit to him for winning his
second week in a time this year. Jeff and I went head to head on Super Locks. Second time I upended him. And if you ask Jeff, the second time that I should have lost that Super Lock. The Washington one is his white whale. And now this one is another one that you might say that a bad.
That is crazy. Yeah, those are probably two of my most egregious real money losses this year.
Yeah, well,
the Browns
I'll take
and
the
that
T-box.
Redskins Packers.
I'll take the T-box for
Washington Packers game. Damn it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're only
and
six. We're
free
only
money.
Yes, you hit. I already mentioned that. You know, when I mention these things and you hear them, that means I've already said them. You know that, right?
Well, let's just put it this way. I'm so excited about that there's 2 free monies this week.
Oh my God. So you're really, here's the thing. You could have lost out the rest of the season, I think, and not cracked 100 lifetime free money losses. But now putting 2 on the table, you might be able to get there.
Oh yeah. I've got a Saturday, Thursday, Christmas Colossus for the people. And then I've got a regular one on Sunday.
Well, it's not Christmas this week. It's Christmas next week.
That's true. Okay. Well, whatever. I'll have to come up with a catchy name for it. Anyway, I have a 3-teamer for Thursday and Saturday, plus another one for the rest of the slate. Fired up. I'm hitting my stride here. Don't be so sure, Jeff. I'm not coming for you.
Well, you can pass me. You're only 4 games behind me. I've been going 7-7, 6-8, and 8-6. I think each of the past 6 weeks. So I
already assume I'm going to pass you. I'm worried about Jeff right now.
What is this, Tim Sember?
It's becoming that, isn't it?
Well, you can always tell when the world starts going to shit, Cust starts rising out of the ashes and things start breaking Tim's way. And that's what's happening at the moment. Super Locks, Tim is now 7-7 on the year. Geoff drops to 9-5 based on the last few plays of the Baltimore and Cleveland game. And Dallas cruises until the very end for me. I'm 11-3 on Super Locks. I've almost locked that up over Geoff. We'll see how I can do. When I was scrolling through the games right before the show, I was like, oh, that's the one. So hopefully my gut doesn't let me down on this one. And hopefully their entire team doesn't test positive for COVID, because that's really what's been happening to 2 teams so far. Probably more on the way. And it's going to be a tough week. A lot of these numbers may not exist by the end of the week, but we'll kick it off on Thursday because it's probably the best or second best game of the week, because Sunday involves none of the best games. Chiefs at Chargers. Chargers are 3-point dogs at home, Geoff. 52.5 is the over-under. This is the only game of the week that is above 50 as a game total. So when you get to DraftKings show on Thursday and we talk about the Sunday slate of games, you kind of pick and choosing which ones aren't going to be super low scoring, because they all seem to be right in that 24-20 type mold based on the Vegas projections right now. But Geoff, the Chargers are your team. They're riding high coming in. They win this game. Maybe they could win the division.
Oh, if they win this game, they probably would win the division. If you do like the Chargers to win this game, Pat, I mean, the money line is plus 170, but I would argue you could be better off betting the plus 220 or 215 to win the division. But that's a big if. People have to realize I'm very content at the moment. I feel so blessed about this game, about this opportunity. Obviously, I'm going to want them to win. Obviously, I'm going to be excited in the moment, watching it. I'd want the Chiron to go my way. But fact of the matter is, it's week 15. I'm a half game behind the Kansas City Chiefs for a division. Let's go. Let's go. This is all house money for me as far as I'm concerned. I think, a lot of question marks, a lot of games, though. But, I don't know about the Slater status, the Eckler status, the Derwin status. nothing is long term here, so I'm really excited about a couple heads that we're gonna chop off in January. But I don't know, whatever comes of Thursday comes of Thursday. All I know is an angel has been bestowed upon me and my life, and with him I'm capable of anything. Yeah, so I hope it's a shootout. Those seem to be the games that work best for the Chargers. Let's go boat race this sucker, and maybe we'll make a couple of the high leverage plays and come out on top. But we're in clear striking distance of a playoff spot. We play Houston next week on extra rest, so you could just give us that win right now. We're gonna go to the postseason. I'm just excited. This is another nice experience for this Charger team, but it's all happening. We're gonna chop ahead. We're gonna chop a head off, and I didn't think it'd be this year. Like, I had a lot of Charger futures. To bet the division wasn't one of them because I felt, I don't know, we're not ready for that. But we're not ready for that.
They were Super Bowl ready, but not division winning ready.
Well, no, I mean, that's a bet I make every year. And by futures, I sort of mean, like, I have the win total 9. I have to make the playoffs at plus money. And yeah, I have the ceiling bet to win the Super Bowl, but I'd make that any year. And that's a 40 to 1. And then I made some like Herbert MVP bets. So yeah, I guess I should have taken the 5 to 1 or 450 to win the division, but I just didn't think that was attainable because I'm such a believer in the Chiefs. And we're gonna stab them. We're gonna stab them right in the heart in the next year or two. I don't know if it'll be Thursday though, but we're ready. We're gonna get to that moment where we chop their goddamn head off.
So Geoff is taking the Chiefs.
Coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Geoff's taking the Chiefs.
Yeah. I really like how you tried to make that joke now 4 times. It really landed.
I'm not.
What joke? What? I missed it all 4 times.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure it is a joke.
What's the joke?
Anyway,
go for a 5th. Let's go.
I'm not going to. Anyway.
No, I beg you. I gotta hear it.
I just kept saying, I guess you're taking the Chiefs then, because you're talking yourself out of the Chargers.
Oh, so funny, Tim.
No, I'm taking the Chargers +4. We're gonna have a fun
plus 3, sir. Plus 3.
Game.
Plus 3, sir.
What?
Read it on that board, pal.
Whatever. Fine. Sure. +3. Like, and did someone die on Kansas City in the last hour?
Chris Jones is out, I think.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I did see that. It should be. Oh, you're right. Why didn't I there were whatever. I'm only a little mad because I should have probably just taken those 4s, but I don't even care. It's gonna be a hoot. It's gonna be a blast. We're gonna, Joe Buck and Troy get to see my gun show, so that'll be fun.
I watched this game with Geoff, Tim, like I mentioned, and I thought he got excited when Josh Palmer scored a touchdown very early in the game, but I thought he was going to have to pick up one of the pitchers off the table and dunk it over his head when Herbert made that pass to Guyton, the 65 yards in the air touchdown behind the defense. He was fired up.
It was one of the nicest passes that we've seen in the NFL all season. He should be fired up.
Throw the year.
It's definitely in the conversation. I mean, I'd have to mentally go through a list of them.
No, you wouldn't. You were going to say it's that stupid throw from week 1 from Zach Wilson.
No, Zach threw this one against Tennessee that was marvelous.
Oh, the one that Zach pushed Corey Davis down the field?
He made a beautiful one, but I don't know, that Herbert one was fantastic. Geoff should be excited. He should need to cool down. The Chargers are on the first part of my Saturday money line parlay. It's silly to me that the Chiefs are getting so much respect in this game. I don't think the Chiefs defense has played very good football the last few weeks. I think that's a bit of a mirage. I don't think they play as good a defense as we've seen out of them the last couple of weeks. And you might say, the Chargers used up all their bullets destroying the the Giants. But I actually think the Chiefs exhausted themselves rolling the Raiders. We're so upset for what Oakland did to their midfield strike. Whether you think it's dumb or not, I think the Chiefs really cared about that and really tried to roll up the points because of it. And
you have to play the fourth quarter. I was so annoyed watching that game. That game was over on the first freaking play. You're telling me Kansas City exerted themselves?
I do.
That game ended.
Listen.
That game was over after the first play.
And Geoff will be able to tell you too that when the Chargers and Chiefs play on weird games, like not a Sunday, but when they play Thursdays or Saturdays, the Chargers seem to have their number recently. And that's what we got here now. So, yeah, give me the Chargers in this game. I feel really, really think they're short-listed for a Super Lock contender this week. That they're a great team at a great spot.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
I'm getting points.
Hold on a second. No,
the home dog.
The Chiefs had an extended winning streak against us that we only broke week 17 last year because the Chiefs were resting.
No,
people.
2 years ago, they won that Saturday night game against them as well.
That was more than 2 years ago, Tim.
Or 3 years ago, the last time they went to the playoffs. So they won that
we
Saturday
went for
game.
2 with Mike Williams.
Yes,
late,
exactly.
But I'm just saying the Chiefs have really had our number, even though the games have been entertaining, and we only snapped a bit of a losing streak against them because they rested Mahomes the last week of the season last year. We did win early
week 2 as well. And they beat them in week 2. They get 3 in a row. The Chargers are you're getting points with the Chargers at home. Underdogs are covering in outrageous numbers this year, and we're taking the Chargers.
Yeah, coming off a week where it seemed like every favorite both won and covered outside of I think only 2 favorites lost outright last week, and it was like Carolina and Arizona. I think were the only 2. And it seemed like that before the COVID scare, which Tim caused last night. So good news for any Rams bettors, I suppose. Tim tweeted out that the Rams were a lock, and then all of a sudden, the line shifted 3 points like 10 seconds later, Tim.
And did the Rams win or did the Rams lose? Because I think I was right about that. But anyway, okay.
But that's not what we're going to remember. We remember that you tweeted it out, and less than 10 seconds later, there was a COVID outbreak.
Oh yeah, well of course you want to remember it in the worst possible light for me, but that's
the only thing to remember from it.
The Cardinals leave that game. Murray looks hurt. Hopkins is hurt, and they lost that game, and they're in a lot of trouble to win that division. Yeah, but the Cardinals. The real thing is that the Rams had a couple of players out. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so Tim's able to influence the spread by almost 3 points per tweet, by the way. So anyone who is trying to get some closing line value, you got to keep that in mind when you're going through everything. I'm going to take the Chiefs. 3 points, just field goal game, seems pretty short. They seem to be playing in like third gear and winning by a bunch right now. This is a game they need to win. This is the game that they need to win for the rest of the season. This kind of separates them from the rest of the division. This could still have them like they're tied for the 1 seed right now. They're not the 1 seed, but this is the really tough game that they have left on their schedule. And this basically clinches the division for them, and it sets them up to potentially still have the bye in the AFC, which is just kind of insane to think about. Like we could be sitting in week 16 doing the show next week, and the Chiefs just all of a sudden have the bye, and they have a pretty not easy schedule because they still play Cincinnati the rest of the way, but games that they're going to be favored in to win. So I'm going to take Kansas City. The coin agrees with me too, which is probably not a good thing. On to Saturday, 2 Saturday games. Cleveland is now a 3-point favorite at home against Vegas. The over-under is 40. This was 6.5, although I think 13 players from the Cleveland Browns have been placed on the COVID-19 list as of Tuesday. There could be more to come. Not one of them is Baker Mayfield, however, so their quarterback is fine. Nick Chubb is not one of those players either. Jarvis Landry is probably the most important player that I saw. I didn't read the entire list, but I didn't see any of the big names. There could be offensive line or defensive line injuries, but no one huge in that regard. So at least that's good news. I don't know if it was enough to swing at 3 points, but they can't go into their practice facility right now. They're sort of locked out until they can figure out what's going on and try to stop the spread on the team. So there could be even more players out after this, but I don't know. If your main cogs aren't out, Tim, does it make that big of a difference, or do you get to a point where you have so many guys out that it's really going to impact your team?
This happened to the Browns last year in the playoffs. They lost a ton of people and their head coach before a playoff game. The whole world wrote them off, picked the Steelers in that game, and the Browns won the game comfortably. I I'm going with the Browns here. I think that the line movement has been too much. There's now value on Cleveland. The Raiders, other than that aberrational game on Thanksgiving, have looked completely deflated and flat for a month. And so I just can't in good conscience take the Raiders here. A dome team, outdoors, it's going to be dark, it's going to be cold. I just don't see it here. I mean, I don't know what the Raiders are going to do in order to take advantage of the Browns. I mean, look, Baltimore did nearly come back on them last week with a backup quarterback, but I actually don't think Huntley is that bad. I just, is Renfro really going to be the deciding? Can the Raiders block? The main question in this game is, can the Raiders keep the Browns edge rushers from getting into the backfield? If they cannot, and I don't think they do, someone like Leatherwood, I don't think has any chance of doing that. I think the Browns run amok, and the Raiders are in a world of trouble. I like Cleveland a lot here. Their money line is the second part of a 3-team money line parlay for the Thursday-Saturday set.
I'm with Tim. I think that was going to be my point exactly. I think that maybe we get to a point of the week, but that's not that point right now where there are just too many guys out, too many important players out, but it doesn't seem like that's the case right now. Kareem Hunt is not going to play because he is injured. But other than that, they should have all of their quote-unquote stars in this game, and I don't think that the Raiders are going to be able to block Cleveland. Maybe you can say the same thing on the other side of the ball, but it's a top 10 pass rush in terms of the Browns taking on a bottom 10 pass blocking offensive line with a team that has just looked kind of terrible, like Tim said, outside of Thanksgiving. Even then, they were kind of propped up by the refs to win that game against Dallas. So when you have one of the league's worst run defenses going up against a team that exclusively wants to run the ball and their running backs are healthy and the offensive line is healthy enough, Geoff, give me the Browns, -3.
Yeah, let's make it a hat trick here, guys. And I probably would have taken the Browns, frustratingly having to lay all the points, although arguing you probably were going to get a bunch of just blind value on the Raiders because, listen, the Chiefs whooped them. Like, they whipped them. But a lot of it was self-inflicted. So, there's probably some inflation and some reaction to the final score. But even something as silly as like 30-9 doesn't hit the public as hard as like 48-9 or 49-9. Nonetheless, now it's 3 points. It kind of makes it easy. Piggybacking on a lot of the things that both you said, Pat, specific to the Raiders' inability to protect and just the spot game now, a Saturday in holiday season in a cold environment. Browns really need it. And I'm buying into the road, the path for the Browns, as it's all been set up based on the Ravens and Bengals' current struggles. And I guess you could throw Pittsburgh into that. So the Browns actually, especially before this COVID thing, as it pertains to this week, they sort of look like the team that might have the lane setting up for them better than anyone else based on schedule and what's happening around them in the division. So I'm on the wagon here, Brownies. And well, you know what? I'll maybe have this conversation in the next game because there's kind of a joint focus.
The coin is also taking the Browns. So it's a complete round of Cleveland in the early Saturday night game. New England and Indianapolis is the late Saturday night game, which is either the best or second best game of the week. When you kind of look at all of these games, the Colts are favored by 2.5 points at home. For a 45.5 is the over-under. And the question that everyone seems to be asking coming into this game is, how are the Colts favored? Not only favored, but favored by this much. Now, I said last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I thought the Colts were a team that has really been set up to beat a team like New England. I think they're very similar. They should play a close game, and then you need the breaks to go your way in order to beat them. I think these teams are very similar in a lot of ways. It's kind of shocking to see the Patriots it's less than a field goal, but they're still a dog in this spot. So, Geoff, do you think this has to do with a lot of people believing that the Colts are set up to beat a team like the Patriots, or people are just so fucking sick of New England that no one wants to bet it? People just want to bet against New England to lose, so they just want to take the Colts.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of parts of both of that, Pat. And apparently this game opened at
2.
No, but apparently it was Patriots -1.
When?
Well, and the Sharps just absolutely crushed this game.
It was Colts -1 for a while, and the Sharps did come in heavy on Indianapolis.
Do you know that for sure?
Well, I know for sure it was -1, and the lines moved 1.5.
Yeah, the advanced line on the game was Patriots -1.
Which makes no sense given that both these teams were on bye last week, right? Like the line would move that. Who knows? I guess people aren't really betting advance.
But
line.
I do agree that regardless, this is where the line is now. And I think a lot of people realize that, this could maybe match up. I mean, Frank Wright is a coach that people would trust against Belichick, maybe on a short list, maybe undeserving. But if you had to make a short list of coaches you would trust potentially against Belichick, I think Frank Wright would crack most of people's lists. And I think you nailed it on the head here, Pat. It's whether you've bet on the Patriots in their run or bet off them, you're still like, okay, it's crazy what they're doing. It's different. It's what I've stated many times for us who cheer for other teams. It's both marvelous, but also frustrating. You marvel at what they're able to do. It's frustrating because most of us cheer for teams that have never won anything, and their ability to win so much and not really even have a downturn to just be back is, it makes your head explode at time while you're marveling at it. But so many of us, it's like a roulette wheel. Listen, they've beaten a lot of good teams in this run. Chargers, Browns, Bills. I'm probably disrespecting them by forgetting some. Tennessee. Like, they've beaten a lot of these AFC playoff teams in this run. They're like, they just got to lose a game. Like, I respect what they're doing. I acknowledge Belichick's amazing. I acknowledge Mac Jones looks fantastic, but at some point they got to just lose a game. Unfortunately for us who feel this way, Pat, it's out of a bye, which they're both out of a bye, but you want to pick on Belichick out of a bye? Here's my question though, Patrick. If you think Indy's going to win this game, this was brought up to me by a buddy who deep dived, and he likes to bet heavy sometimes. Colts to win the Super Bowl 35-1. If you think they're going to win this game, shouldn't you make that bet? Like, A, doesn't that propel them sort of into the playoffs in many regard? And then B, change the market's perception of them because they'll have beaten the 1 seed in the conference. So technically from that point on, they'll be able to beat anybody in the conference.
See, I disagree. And I think that, yes, if you bet the Colts to win the Super Bowl today and they beat the Patriots, you're probably looking at the Colts 20-1 or 18-1 next week to win the Super Bowl. So, yes, you would be getting better value on the Colts if you bet them this week and they win this game, obviously. I just think it's a very particular matchup to the Patriots where these teams are very similar in the way that they're constructed and what the game plan that they want to have is. Don't turn the ball over, run the ball as much as possible, do most of your work in the trenches, especially on the offensive line, and really push people over. But I don't know how the Colts fare against some of these other AFC teams is the thing. Like, if you put the Bengals up against them, I think I would like the Bengals. You put the Chargers up against them, I think I would like the Chargers. You put the Chiefs up against them, I think I like the Chiefs. If the game is in Indianapolis, I think I like the Bills against Indianapolis. If it was in Buffalo, I weirdly like the Colts a little bit more. And then you get into a situation where Tennessee has their number when Tennessee is healthy, and Tennessee is probably gonna be healthy by the time the playoffs come around. So I actually think if you're gonna bet a team in the AFC right now to win the Super Bowl, Tennessee is the bet.
Okay, maybe. I'm just saying, I think if you like the Colts to win this weekend, I'm making the case that it represents some Super Bowl value. Again, I'm still making my buddy who made the big bet, like, try to sell me. And I'm like, if I decide they'll win this weekend, then I will join you on them winning the Super Bowl. The thing that is interesting about them, Pat, in the games they have blown, like, we haven't seen them go down double digits and come back, so there's that question mark. And I guess that question mark remains with the Patriots, but the games the Colts have blown, it feels like the Titan game, the Raven game, they had big leads, and I guess because you run the ball and I don't know, they had big leads in those games and they lost them. It's not like they have had an ability to come back. So I agree there are questions that remain, but if you like them, I would take them to win this to win the Super Bowl.
Who are you taking this week?
I'm taking Indy, but I don't love this game yet. But I am taking Indy as someone who just thinks the Patriots just got to lose a goddamn game already, okay?
I'm going to take Indy too to back up what I said. I don't feel great about it. It's going to be a pick on this show, and maybe when Saturday night rolls around and I've had a few beer, maybe then all of a sudden I'll be in on betting this game. But I have no inclination to be like, man, I love Indy in this game. They're not going to be on a short list or best bets or anything like that for me, but I feel like the Patriots will be for Tim.
Yeah, to quote a philosopher that we know, man, Patriots. That's how I feel about this game. I love New England in this spot, getting points, getting them on the money line. They're the third part of the Thursday, Saturday money line parlay. You bet the farm, you win 7.65 farms. I really like New England in this spot. The whole world is talking themselves into betting on the Colts. The sharps like them because of some of the numbers. The public are betting the Colts because, as I think it was well described by Geoff, the people hate the Patriots. They are still quite miffed as to what they did a week ago by just not throwing the ball and basically just making a joke out of that game while Buffalo floundered. I get all of that. The Colts are rolling out Carson Wentz. It's a game that the whole world is trusting Carson Wentz to win. I don't. I feel like I'm standing out in the middle of nowhere by myself screaming, the Patriots are so much better than Indianapolis. This is silly. I understand that people say the Colts match up well for them, and that's all well and good, but the Patriots are coming off bye and have been strategizing for this game, and they know that they're underdogs in this game. It's indoors in climate control. I don't see any reason to believe the Patriots should struggle in this game. I think the Patriots eat them up and spit them out because the Patriots are the team you should be betting on to win to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC, because the Patriots are the team that's going to the Super Bowl in the AFC, and everybody knows this.
I think
when
I think the bet
suggestions. I'm not suggesting the team that's plus like 300.
No, you're too busy betting Miami to make the playoffs just to get me annoyed. I know what you're doing. Might as well bet them to make the Super Bowl too, like everybody else in the world seems to think they're going to make, but I don't. Apparently, 2 is better than Kyler Murray, is what I'm reading these days.
We had a friend show Tim a fake bet slip of him putting $100 on the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl, and Tim got very triggered.
Well, I don't understand why people would even want to make that bet. Like, what a waste! What an absolute waste!
Listen. I know he's not on the board right now, but if the Dolphins really do run the table here, Geoff, our Tua MVP odds, we're gonna cash. People love Tua; they'll just vote for him.
Well. Tim spent his Saturday afternoon, Pat, using the playoff machine for 5 weeks to, he claims, genuinely put the Dolphins into the playoffs. That's how he spends Saturday afternoons now.
There is only one way this ends. We all know how this ends. Somehow the Dolphins and Ravens end up with the same record, and the Dolphins get the tiebreak over Tim's Super Bowl winner, and they make the playoffs. That's how this ends.
I can't have that. I'll have to get involved.
Oh, really? How are you going to get involved?
Well, I really can't get involved, but like I can't have the Dolphins in the play. I just can't. All these people, I'm betting the Dolphins to do this. I'm betting the Dolphins to do that. I don't need to know what you're betting on the Dolphins, people. I don't need. No, fine. Go ahead. Yeah, you say it's rent free or whatever. I don't need to know what you're doing. If you want to set your money on fire and bet on a team that doesn't have a quarterback who can throw it past the line of scrimmage and an offensive coach that doesn't, go ahead and waste your money. You're not getting me upset. You're not angering me by telling me. You're just wasting your time.
You sound pretty under control.
I am under control. Look, when we get to that game, like the Dolphins are clearly going to win this week.
Oh, so you're already using your cursing powers, huh?
No, I've already accepted that.
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine that we would be the team that would trip them up and keep and put their playoff hopes.
Tim, this is your Super Bowl. This is where your life is at right now. Week 15, Jets at Dolphins. Jets win. It's like winning the Super Bowl for you. This is all you have.
Well, I have week 18 too. Some of us still remember when the Jets got screwed by Buffalo in the last week of the year and missed the playoffs. And I would love the idea of being able to return that favor to Buffalo in week 18 when our turn comes. So we have a chance in week 15 and week 18. We have a couple of hinge games, not for the Jets. The Jets are not the hinge team, but we're playing in 2 games that are hinge games for the AFC coming down the stretch.
Well, every game that you declared a hinge game this season for the Jets, it actually turned out that the Jets weren't involved in the hinge whatsoever.
Well, they were sort of were. Anyway, they are involved in both of these.
How are they? How are they sort of?
Well, I mean, that them beating Tennessee is one of the reasons that the Patriots are probably going to have home field is in a tight situation where head to head doesn't.
Yeah, so so it didn't really apply to that, but it seems like it applied to the Patriots and the Titans, not the Jets.
Yeah, I suppose that part is true.
Sad scene. So your 2 Super Bowls you got 2 of them this year for the Jets. Week 15 against Miami to try to prevent them from making the playoffs, and week 18 against Buffalo trying to prevent them from making the playoffs. That's
what we've got.
That's it's a lot to look forward to, I must say. Sunday games now. NFC East, Dallas at the Giants. It appears like Mike Glennon is going to start once again. Dallas is a 10.5-point favorite on the road. Geoff, you just watched the Giants pretty closely last week. They were god-awful. But Dallas seems like they're running on fumes right now, don't they?
Yeah, I'm going to take the 10.5 here with the Giants at home. Geez, there's not really a ton to go off of when you're betting the Giants. And by all accounts, their defense, they had a lot of playmakers healthy. There was a point deep in that game where their receiver with the most yards was like 7.
It was John Ross.
7 yards.
One catch for 7 yards.
I know Rudolph had the big play, but that play doesn't happen if Derwin James is there. Either James is in coverage or James would have been that safety blitzing and would have gotten there the quarter second earlier than that whole play. Yeah, I don't know. Division game in New York. Give me the Giants plus 10.5. I don't know. I don't love it, but I'm not laying the number with Dallas.
I almost feel, Tim, like taking Dallas in this game because I feel like no one's going to take them here, and the Giants are just like legit bad. They're awful. And the way to really get to Dallas, and although maybe Tyron Smith is out, so that's going to hurt. And we've seen their offense be kind of muddled when he doesn't play. And Dak, legitimately, since he's come back from this injury, has been straight up bad. Like he was an MVP, top 3 MVP candidate before he hurt his calf. Since he's come back, he is like Baker Mayfield, essentially, in terms of stats.
Oh yeah, he's not been playing good football. He's been playing terrible football. They've been winning despite of him, not because of him. I mean, he single-handedly tried to bring the Washington football team back in that game on Sunday, and we watched that game extensively because a friend of ours had a lot of money on it. So like I was really focused on that game.
I had a lot of money on that game as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It seemed like everybody in the world bet Dallas in that game, and good for them. They got their cover. I'm happy to see people do well. Yeah, I'm going to take the Giants. Too many games in division at home. I expect Dallas to win by 7. I expect it to be an ugly, bad, dumb game where it finishes like 17-10.
I'm going to take Dallas, just blindly take them. I can see them winning this game like 20-3 or something like that. Dallas's defense does look really good. They've been pretty lights out. They've been and their defense is healthy. Everyone is back. The Giants can't block. Dallas has one of the better pass rushes in football. That they can scrape their way to above 20 points. I think they cover this number. So I'm just going to blindly go with the team that's been covering spreads all year long, 10-3 against the spread, and the Giants are god-awful. And that's sort of the play that I want to make here. Houston at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is now a 4-point favorite against the Texans. 39 is the over-under. These two teams met back in week 1, and Houston beat the absolute shit out of the Jags. Trevor Lawrence hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since, I don't know, Caesar was in power. I threw this theory out. Well, in fairness to him, Jake had some good stats about Trevor Lawrence, about his his passes that are on target versus off target. And Zach Wilson is actually ahead of him if you include the ground in front of people. Then he would be ahead of Trevor Lawrence in those same numbers. So.
Your argument in favor of Trevor Lawrence is that you just want to talk about Zach. Okay, that's fine.
No, because I know where you're going with this. Why are you laughing?
I'm not going anywhere other than just I'm delighted to see all these people. And you saw it on Twitter this week. It was all over Twitter. All the people saying, well, Trevor Lawrence better avoid the Jets. What a disaster situation that would be for him. Yeah, I mean, somehow he's found himself in a worse circumstance. And not that he chose that wasn't his choice. But yeah, there was one St. John the Baptist talking about how Trevor Lawrence did not look that great, despite what everybody else said in the world. And that was me. And I've been proven more right than wrong. And I appreciate I'm not going to get my credit. I'm not going to get my due from anybody. But I just want people to know that I know, that they know, that I know that I was right.
As it turns out, Geoff, I have some inside scoops on your private DMs with Tim that apparently it's less about Tua and it's more about Trevi now. Is that true?
Listen, yeah, no, I don't even run the race with Tim on Tua. I told you, I'm like the
We
I'm
don't
like the
talk about
fat
Tua
kid that
anymore.
like got gassed out.
We
Like,
talk about T-Law these days.
no, all I said to Tim, and this was before it became like Mimi Central, and I've been saying it to Tim for a couple weeks.
Yes.
Is if Trevor Lawrence was a Jet, he would be getting so much more heat than Trevor Lawrence on the Jags. And the question is that I begged to Tim, who's probably the wrong person to have this conversation with, but I like talking on issues that don't involve Tua or Lawrence. I really do enjoy discussing the minutia of the league with Tim. We're like-minded in that.
Yes, it's true.
And a lot of like just boring stories that maybe other people wouldn't care about. Nonetheless, Trevor Lawrence is being protected because everyone is just acknowledging that it's a free pass because Urban Meyer's created such a shit show.
Hold on. That's my question.
If you admit Trevor Lawrence is bad, then you're pretty much admitting you were wrong. You just got in line following a couple draft experts.
I know. I feel like it's all a conspiracy against me, but I mean, I'm not going to say that.
But you just did. Is that because you suffer from main character syndrome?
This is why I didn't want to say that because
that's how you feel. That's why you have main character syndrome. No, hold on. Is Urban Meyer providing too much of a smokescreen here because everyone just hates him and they just don't care about anything else that happens?
That's possible.
Two,
because when you can't perform in garbage time,
that's
an enormous red flag. Like
absolutely
an enormous red flag. The most nut-low Jaguar quarterbacks of our time performed in garbage time for us.
So is it a weapons problem in Jacksonville? Because Tim has now come to say that it's a weapons problem in New York. However, like 5 weeks ago, the Jets had the best skill possession players in football. But ever since Zoomer Zach came back, they're no longer good, according to Tim. But with everyone else, they were good. If you swapped those two players, would things be different? Would Trevi be good in New York?
I think Trevi would not be good in New York because he's not that good.
Okay. Interesting.
Which I've been saying for months.
I just think there's just a safety net. The Urban Meyer thing allows everyone that told us this guy was the second coming, it allows them more time before admitting they might be wrong. And who wouldn't use that safety net if there's one under you? They're taking advantage of the safety net they have been given. But Tim has also said you can't even judge a rookie by his first year, despite harshly judging Tua and
Trevor Lawrence,
judging Lawrence, but giving Zach a lot of free passes.
Oh well, at least I'll give Trevor Lawrence his credit. They're not benching him in the middle of games. At least they're letting him play games. So I could give him that. They have that kind of confidence in him. He does know how to throw the ball past the line of scrimmage.
I remember whatever year it was, and Geoff took such exception to Sean McVay when they interviewed Sean McVay, and he could remember all the players on every team and all the plays. Remember how much of it's like how mad you would get about that? The people pointed to that about him being a good coach. Look how good of a coach McVay is. He knows all of the players. Well, as it turns out, Urban Meyer doesn't even know the players on his own team. So which one would you rather have?
Yeah, you're right. And I honestly don't want to insult McVay for that because Staley just does an outstanding job. Like, he'll go through your fourth guy on the depth chart, like when talking about an opposing position group. And he's just rhyming them off. He knows everything that could be coming on Sunday.
Well, Urban Meyer's sitting there
It's
trying to
great
get
football for
Urban
the
Meyer's
hot
trying to
club.
get a reporter to smell his fucking fingers. That's all he's doing.
Oh, goodness me.
Hey,
I will
listen,
say,
Friends
you've
of
got,
Sean McVay is a nice coaching tree at the moment.
Yeah,
I've
handsome.
got to say, I love the Texans in this game. And I'm not like Cam, who loves all the worst teams every week. I'm not that person, but I do adore the Texans this week. They're the first part of a 4-team tease. We're teasing them all the way up to 10.5 because there is no circumstance on God's green earth that the Jaguars are defeating a team by more than 10 points. It's just not happening.
10 points.
6 point tease for you?
6.5 point tease. Give it 10.5.
So you're going to get up to 10.5. Okay, so here's the thing. I looked at this line when it opened. It was -3 Jags. And I thought to myself, who in the world is betting Jacksonville -3? It feels like Houston is going to be the most popular spread pick of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, like, no one's just going to bet this game. So that's probably what really is going to happen. But, like, when it comes to picks and people talking about it, everyone's going to take Houston. And now it's somehow -4 Jacksonville. I don't know what's going on. It feels like we are all getting played to bet Houston here. Because I'm with you. Why wouldn't you take Houston? They're a better team.
They are not a better team.
They have the better rookie
I'm
quarterback.
upset I didn't make Seattle my super lock.
Okay,
last
how about
year
this?
because
Do the Texans have the best rookie quarterback of 2021?
They definitely have the best rookie quarterback in this game.
the Houston Texans are going to
Stop
finish
it.
the
Stop it. Doesn't live rent free in my. Oh, gee, he throws 4 picks last week. You don't hear a peep about it on Sunday Night Football, on a football night in America. Not a peep. Zach throws 4 picks against the Patriots. It's the front page of New York Times style news.
So New York paper talks about New York team.
No, I'm using that as a
if
metaphor.
Trevor Lawrence was a Jet, the world would be ending.
Oh
for
yeah,
Trevor.
would be.
Like,
It's
I don't
not-
disagree with him in that respect.
the league is going out of its way to protect a Jaguar, and it would never protect a Jet.
No one is
it's federal
protecting the Jaguar. I think media people
Don't
are
care.
just more enamored with the Urban Meyer story. They don't
I
care
agree
to
with
talk
that.
about 2 Jaguar stories. And while blaming Urban Meyer, it also allows people to not admit they may have been dead wrong about somebody. So they're just holding off on that other
That's
part
fair.
of the story.
By
later, I'll collect my credit. I will come to collect.
By the numbers, these are the 2 worst teams in football by a pretty significant margin. And the Texans are, by the numbers, significantly worse than or significantly better than the Texans have been, which is kind of crazy. The Jets actually are the 3rd worst team. They're actually,
I believe it.
They're behind the Lions now. So, like, do you just blindly grab the points, or do we pivot, Geoff, and just take Jacksonville in this spot because no one's going to take them?
No. I'm pivoting. There's money to be made against Houston the rest of the year, even on the spreads. Now, if the Chargers somehow beat the Chiefs on Thursday night, I can only imagine what sort of number I'm going to have to lay on next week.
13.5 in Houston. It would be my guess. I think it's 13.5 either way, whether they win or lose on Thursday night.
Maybe, but here's the part of it, Pat, where I could argue the Jaguars' defensive line really could, like, win this game. Like,
but
I think they're the best unit mismatch in this game.
no, the Texans' defensive line against the Jags' offensive line is the biggest mismatch in this game. The Texans' defensive line is good. They generate pressure.
I guess
spent
Lovie
way too much
Smith,
time capping a terrible game. It's the worst game in the NFL. Worst game all
I
year.
don't know.
Capped it for
Houston-
15 minutes.
I'm taking the Jags. I'm taking the Jags. I don't know if it's real money, even though I said there's real money to be made against Houston. This is, I guess, the barometer of that, and I'm not prepared to make that bet. But give me the Jags.
I'll take Jacksonville too. Just like I said, I think the world's going to be on Houston. Somehow the line keeps creeping towards Jacksonville. I'll just take Jacksonville and be done with it. I'm excited to see Davis Mills, though. They're giving him a run here. There was a report out of Houston today that said, this is a tryout for Davis Mills. They might pass on a quarterback in the draft if Davis Mills is good enough and just roll with him.
They should. There's no QBs worth taking as high, like with the second or third pick, and they have needs elsewhere. Like they should trade back and acquire picks, and if they can't, there are lots of stalwart defensive players that they could go grab. They should not reach on a quarterback.
Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a 2-point dog at home against Tennessee, who got Julio Jones back last week. It doesn't seem like A.J. Brown is going to be back this week. And Derrick Henry is going to be week 17, week 18 probably, but they just kind of keep rolling along. Tennessee, they're not quite as bad as maybe that their roster looks like. Tannehill is still playing well. The defense is a little bit better than I think that people give it credit for, and Pittsburgh is just a weird team. The moment that they're down by a bunch of points, they get real dangerous. But here's the sneaky part. Can Tennessee get up by enough to trigger that momentum inside of Pittsburgh, where they just play like just very basic football the entire game, and this just ends up being 17-14 Tennessee? Because that's what I can see this game being, Tim.
I understand that logic. I'm teasing the Steelers up. They're the second part of my 14 tease. I kind of like them here as a home dog, getting 2 points for the teaser purposes, because you can take it all the way to 8.5. Because I don't think the Titans are quite. I mean, the Steelers, for all their problems, are 6-6-1. Like they're not a terrible team, and they have flashes of brilliance, even though they also have stretches of awfulness. I think much like that earlier game I talked about, this game is going to come down to whether the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line can hold up to the onslaught of the Titans pass rush. If they can do that and give Ben just a slight bit of time, I don't trust the Titans back end to be able to make the plays necessary to keep some of their receivers in check. I think the Steelers are very, very live in this game.
Where do you think Tennessee rates this year in terms of pass coverage?
I don't know.
Second.
I bet you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that, but I also don't think that they're as loaded with talent as that either. I think they're overperforming. And the Steelers can certainly, we've seen game after game, the Steelers have had opportunities to take advantage of big shots. And it comes down to whether Ben has time to set, look down the field and make his throw or not. If he gets time, I think the Steelers are live. I'm going to take them and I'm going to tease them up.
I hear exactly what you're saying, because there is my inclination. Tomlin as an underdog at home, just roll with the Steelers. This seems like obviously a game that they win, because they win this type of game every single year under Tomlin. I just don't think that Pittsburgh's any good. I think I picked them to win this division to begin the year. I think when we made our AFC title predictions that they were my AFC championship loser to the Chiefs, I think it was. I think when I go back and watch the AFC show, I had Chiefs over Steelers in the AFC championship game. But like watching them every single week, Geoff, they're fucking brutal. Like they're really bad. What do they do well?
Hello?
Oh, you can't hear us.
Well, that explains why he wasn't answering.
I said, what do they do well? But I didn't hear you asking me.
Oh,
Geoff.
I said Geoff.
And then there was a large pregnant pause there. Like, did you think I was...
Okay, I don't know what the Steelers do well, but I got to tell you, both of these teams, I think, are way worse than their record. Like,
I actually think I weirdly think Tennessee is good. And the way that the way that they've managed the way that they have been able to overcome injuries to basically, I mean, it kind of turns out that Tannehill is a lot more important than maybe we gave him credit for, because we thought they were dead. We thought that they were dead without Derrick Henry. They weren't. We thought that they were dead without A.J. Brown. They weren't.
No, they still might be dead without Derrick Henry.
They might be dead without Derrick Henry, but I feel like the Tennessee, last 3 years, Tennessee has become what we just think Pittsburgh is every year.
Okay. Let me go here. This could be a super lock, and that would be the Steelers. For starters, I think the Titans do suck without Derrick Henry. They do. They lost their last 3 games. They've lost to the Texans. They got absolutely ass whooped by the Patriots. And I'm seeing here they averaged 3.8 yards per play versus the shitty Jaguars. Okay? I've seen nothing from them. Pittsburgh, a real hard team to figure out. And Pat, very dangerous. because remember that game they played the Chargers and it sort of worked out sort of like this Viking game where they did those things late in prime time. And then we spoke the next week, like, will that have an effect on the spread and what people think they're capable of? And I believe the game after that failed Charger comeback
we hammered the Bengals against them.
Yeah, they got shit throttled. Like, no, they're really bad, and a team like the Bengals can expose where they're bad. I don't think Minnesota is that, like, I like Minnesota. So if they got their asses blown out on a short week by Minnesota, I didn't think that was an undeserved fate potentially. So I'm going to spin the comeback as kind of being impressed. That throw Ben made at the end of that game. Listen, for all the jokes we make, what a hero. Like, honestly, the guy is a goddamn legend. And in some ways it's sad that he sort of turned into this like meme joke at the end here, but what a warrior and what a throw. Like, you couldn't have put that ball in a hole the size of a football, and he did. I'm taking Pittsburgh at home. Also important to note here. Guess what, pal, friends, everybody? Maybe the deciding factor in why this could be my super luck. Tennessee is playing for dog dick nothing. Their probability to make the playoffs is literally like 99%. They can't not make the playoffs. Can they even get first in the conference?
Yes,
Probably
they can.
Not.
Look at the rest of their schedule after this week. They could do it.
Yeah, it's easy. They don't have any hard games. I get it. They're in that shit division. But they're still Pittsburgh's playing for everything. Tennessee's playing for very little. Very, very, very little.
Yeah, but the Steelers always win this game. I'm just going to go with the
it really does feel like the Steelers win every game. The Titans actually have the Niners and Dolphins the next 2 weeks. They really do need this one if they want to continue in the 1 seed, because they probably beat the Texans in week 18. And I mean, they'll probably beat the Dolphins because Tim say that they suck, but we'll see how that ends up going. I just look at this. The biggest mismatch, obviously, in this game is going to be, you talk about, can they keep Ben upright? Can Tannehill stay upright in this game? Because the Pittsburgh pass rush is still very good. The offensive line for the Titans has just been kind of mangled all year long. They don't give Tannehill a bunch of time to throw the ball downfield, but I know it's Dalvin Cook doing it against him on Thursday night, but Tennessee, like, when they run the ball basically as good as Minnesota does, no matter who is back there. Obviously, if Derrick Henry is there, it's even more of a problem, but they've still been running the ball like pretty okay. They ran the ball really well against the Patriots, and the Steelers' rushing defense is horrible. Like, you can control the game against them that way, so I'm going to take Tennessee -2 here, and we'll get to this next fun game, Arizona at Detroit. Coin is taking Pittsburgh as well, by the way. Arizona coming off the loss on Monday night at Detroit. 13.5 is the number. 47.5 is the over-under. I will make this short and sweet. Arizona almost always covers these big numbers on the road this season, so I will take the -13.5 in Detroit. Easy game.
I'll go quickly, too. Arizona's too banged up. Kyler looked hurt. You know that Hopkins is hurt. And the Lions at home are getting too many points. The spread should be 10. It's 13.5. There's a little bit of value on Detroit. I will take the Lions.
You going to tease them up to 20?
Nope.
Why not?
Nope,
Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not?
I am not putting the Lions and Texans on the same parlay. It's not happening.
But there's
there's
value in this spread already.
There is value. There's more value elsewhere. No. Look, there's more value elsewhere. I will not be bullied.
What do you think, Geoff?
Yeah, Cardinals in a dome versus a horrible team. They'll cover.
We saved some time on that one. Oh, Carolina and Buffalo. It appears like Josh Allen is going to play in this game, although he is dealing with this foot injury right now. They might try to get Mitch Trubisky some extra reps, but they're favored by 10.5 at home against the Panthers. 43.5 is the over-under. I saw Leone release some numbers earlier. Again, I was looking at the overall. I was waiting for the Bills to drop really low in terms of Super Bowl odds. And they won't do it. The books refuse to post them low. They're scared that people are going to... All the advanced analytics community, maybe they're just completely wrong about this, it still has a lot of faith in Buffalo. They're 12-1 at DraftKings Sportsbook to win the Super Bowl right now. And I think Leone pointed it out really well. There's just a lot of coin flip games that have gone against them so far this season. Like when you look at EPA per play and when you look at defense, they're still one of the better teams in the league. I don't know if that's going to hold up once they start playing. Again, against almost every good team outside of Kansas City that they've played this year, they have lost. And whether it was New England not passing on them or them going for 2 and not beating Tennessee, or they had a chance to go for it against Tampa Bay and go steal that win on the road on Sunday, and they decided to kick the field goal, and then they punted back to Brady in overtime, and that was the end of it. Like, these have all been games, and a lot of them have been coin flip games. They got pounded by Indianapolis. That was one where they really got blown out. But Carolina's not on their level. Buffalo tends to cover against the really shitty teams, except for Jacksonville, apparently. But I will take Buffalo minus 10.5 at home, Tim.
I'm with you. Buffalo does win these games against sort of cupcake opponents, and they'll win. And of course, I mean, I understand that the advanced stats like Buffalo because the Bills are really good at everything except winning games, which is just it's an interesting fact about them, that they're really good at things except for the only thing that actually matters. But sure, no, I think they win and cover here. I have no fear in the Panthers doing much, and move on to next week when they play. I think it's Patriot week next week. So I don't have much to say.
This is like when the Chargers were good at everything on offense but scoring points.
Yes,
like the only thing.
But then they started to score points.
Yes, then they're 30 and 40 and everything.
And we expect
is fine
the Bills
now.
to win this game. And we expect the Bills to win this game.
So yeah, give me, you guys, I don't really have a lot to say. I'm one of the people that, I mean, I want to believe for Buffalo that even in that loss, they found something in that second half, maybe just an ability to just...
Yeah, I mean, the Bills are so used to losing games. You think they'd be really good by now of finding something to take out of losses because it happens all the time. It's a skill they possess.
I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I will say that I'm a little tickled. Like, I take it as a point of achievement for the Chargers that they have a better record than the Bills, because I, like many people, thought Bills are really good. This is the Bills' time. When the Bills beat the Chiefs, I think the Bills became the favorites to win the Super Bowl the night they beat the Chiefs. Like, not just anecdotally, I think actually that happened.
I mean, I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't taking some pleasure. Again, crabs in the bucket, right? Bring that crab right back down to the bucket with me.
They lost to Pittsburgh, and then they kicked all the ass of these bad teams. But when they lost to Pittsburgh, I think it said, the Bills might not be ready to be like the pretty girl. And we're here, it's week 15, and it seems like they really are still struggling with their pretty girl status.
Yeah, but aren't we out of that now? Now aren't they back into a place where they're a bit more comfortable? That people don't believe in them anymore?
Yeah, till they win this week by 1,000, and then they're like 2-point underdogs at New England next week.
I know, I agree with you, Pat. And again, outside of that one game versus Jacksonville, it does feel like, they've really just beaten the tar out of bad teams, and there's a stank going on in Carolina, that's for sure.
Well, you did make mention of like the Bills' run defense is like it went from the first rated run defense, they're now like the 13th rated run defense like 4 weeks later. And like you mentioned that every time they go up against an elite rushing team or an elite runner, that they tend to have a lot of problems. Does Cam fit that mold because he is an elite runner?
No.
Because he's not an elite passer. I can tell you that much at this point.
No. It's rough days for Carolina. I don't know. Matt Rule should survive after this season. He's done such a bad job over the last 2 years there. Maybe it's time for him to go.
I mean, it's funny that you always said that he was a bad coach once he shunned the Jets, but you were big up in Joe Brady, and then he got fired.
Yeah, well, I guess I thought Brady wasn't doing a terrible job, but I was wrong. And maybe Rule should go too. I don't think he's proven everything in 2 years. Let him go back to Baylor.
You think he'll go back to Baylor? That's what you think?
No, but let him go back.
No,
to
Baylor
college.
has an outstanding coach.
Yeah,
highly
exactly. Let
coveted
him go back to
coach.
college where he had some success.
Jets at Miami.
Main screen.
Oh, God. No, thank you. I mean, honestly, it's probably going to be like Tennessee and Pittsburgh of these games. Or Washington and Philly, maybe. Or maybe this one. Who knows? Dolphins are favored by 8.5. 42.5 is the over-under. Go ahead, Tim. Take it away. Why are the Dolphins going to win this game by 500 points as you try to curse them?
I don't think they win by 500 points. Just the Jets are incredibly injured. And I don't know what, like, we don't have a full offensive line. Our receiving core is decimated. We look like we're going to get Michael Carter back this week, which would be nice. He makes a difference running it, but just the team is too injured. And so I just don't see a circumstance in which this is going to work out very well. It's just Zach has been put in an impossible situation down the stretch here, and I don't know who could succeed. I don't think Johnny Unitas could succeed in the circumstance that he's been put in right now. So all we can hope for is to see, like last week where he had no turnovers because he didn't, apparently, according to the advanced stats, he didn't throw a single turnover-worthy pass.
Well, when you throw it directly into the ground, that's hard to pick off. It doesn't count once it bounces into your hands.
The ball slipped out of his hands, but he did make a couple of passes last week that his counterpart in this game couldn't make in his wildest dreams. But there were bad passes, but there wasn't a single, like, he was safer with the ball last week and didn't make any dumb decisions. So that was heartening. But just there's no reason to think that the Dolphins, of course, it's funny how the league loves to get us, right? Last week, they had us playing the Saints coming off a mini bye. Now they're getting us to play the Dolphins coming off a full bye. Like late in the season, we're constantly up against teams who get to have all this extra time off. It's a real fair circumstance that I'm encountering week after week. The Dolphins should anyway. The Dolphins should win and cover this game. They'll win by 10 or more. You should take the Dolphins in this game.
Jeff, do we pivot here and go against the curse?
I'm not. I think the Jets get absolutely obliterated. This game is setting up to be nightmarish for Tim because Brian Flores is going to just annihilate Zach Wilson. He's just going to annihilate him. A great defensive coach whose defense is playing hot off a bye, a rookie quarterback that is struggling. It won't take much to create some things that Zach doesn't even see pre-snap. On top of that, it's going to drive Tim nuts as Tua's just dinking and dunking for probably another 84% completion day. It'll be these perfectly timed short crosses, and then a guy's just going to sprint 60 yards, and the Dolphin fans in the room there, Pat, will be happy, and Tim will be, it was a 3-yard pass! It was a 3-yard pass! Like, just get ready for a day full of that.
Do we think there's going to be more of that whining, or that wasn't Zach's fault? A lot of that, because that happens
both
a lot.
sides. Like whoever has the ball, Tim. Honestly, just start digging, buddy. You're gonna have a horrible Sunday.
I know. I've come to accept that reality that it's not going to go well.
You're gonna be trolled by your family. You're gonna be trolled by your friends. You're gonna be trolled by strangers from all parts of the globe on the internet. You're done for Sunday. I'm
going to take the Jets plus 8.5 here. Like this game was tied going into the fourth quarter a month ago. Like
what's changed?
A lot's changed, but I just
become a Miami playoff ticket holder.
Miami, I do think that Miami can win this game. Obviously, Miami can win this game. They're 8.5 point favorites, but they just don't seem. I know that they can win by more than this number, but I just don't see them as a team who blows other teams out, really. Like, they're going to consistently kind of be ahead. They'll not turn the ball over, that kind of thing. But if this game was 17-10, I could see that happening. If this game was 24-17 again, I can see that happening. In both those situations, the Jets cover those games.
And then they get to play in primetime next week, which is nonsense.
Hold on, though. It might be that game that you projected to be. But Zach will make a mistake, short field, cover.
I mean, that
could happen.
That's very much in play, but I will take the Jets plus 8.5 here. It'll be fun to watch with Tim when it comes down to it. Washington and Philadelphia. Not quite a loser leaves town match, but pretty much a loser leaves town match. Philly's favored by 5. Jalen Hurts should be back for this game. Washington just placed, as we were recording this, like 11 players on the COVID list, so that's bad news for them. Terry McLaurin's just probably not going to play because he has a concussion. Heineke looks like he is going to play, but sustained a knee injury last week after looking horrible. 43.5 is the over-under. Everything is setting up perfectly for Philadelphia in this game. Coming off by getting everyone healthy. They don't seem to have anyone on the COVID list at the moment. We'll see how that ends up turning out. But it just seems like a mismatch right now, even in division. But something in me just wants to take Washington. But I won't. I'll go against that instinct and take Philly -5. But I could just see this being a game of a folly of errors, Geoff.
Hold on, you called on me again there, right?
I did. What are you looking at on your computer?
I'm going to take Washington +5. I hate this game. I'm taking both these home teams, underdogs in this Eastern Division.
This game is in Philadelphia.
In my write-up here, I have this where I have my pick written. I have it as the bad word written +5. So I just had to really decompress to make sure I wasn't going to say that word.
Maybe don't write it.
Yeah, I know.
I like the Eagles here quite a bit.
This has actually went to 4.5 since we started talking as well, but we're still having it as 5 for the show because that's what it says on the graphic. But live at DraftKings Sportsbook during this recording, it has dropped to 4.5.
Yeah, I like the Eagles quite a bit here. I remain unimpressed by Washington. Philly has had some time off with a bye. Hurts and Minshew can sort of split time.
They're not going to split time. One of them's going to start. If Jalen Hurts isn't healthy enough to play, they're not going to play him.
We'll see. I kind of like the circumstances here for Philadelphia. I think it sets up very well for them. And I don't know. I just don't like Washington. They had no business coming back in that game last week. They were flat. And what makes me think they're going to go into Philadelphia? Eagles coming off a bye. I don't know. I have no trust in Washington. So give me the Eagles.
I don't trust Minshew. I think Hurts could still be hurt. And to be perfectly honest, I think the guy who coaches the Eagles is still a bozo. So the concept of them actually taking advantage of a bye, football +5.
I do think that you could be on to something. Like if Hurts is still injured, then they could be at a severe disadvantage. We don't know who's coming out of their backfield because Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard were both hurt before the bye. And Boston Scott had some sort of weird non-COVID related illness, but he was a non-factor the last time that they played. So they could be a bit banged up on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that Minshew is going to Charlie Fry his way or Matt Flynn his way into a bunch of money where he gets one start this year and he looks amazing against the fucking Jets. And maybe the Jets will pay him a whole bunch of money to come play quarterback for them. Like, I don't know if that really proves that you had a good game against the Jets. Like that. Fantastic news. Good for you.
Yeah, but there's a lot of tape on Minshew. He played for an entire season.
Yeah, no one wanted him.
No one did want him. But I think he's still decent.
Is he better than Trevor Lawrence, Tim?
That's a very tough question. I don't know, which is an answer in and of itself.
Well, we are at the midway point of the show, flying through the show today, which means we need to go all brakes right now. No gas, all brakes, because it is time for Cust Corner Mini.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner.
I want to talk about umbrellas.
Oh, God.
And how angry I am at umbrellas. I don't understand
how to open them. I'm sorry you don't have motor skills.
In this day and age, how umbrellas don't withstand any amount of wind and rain in this world makes no sense to me. So on Saturday night, I went out to a concert and I had to walk a distance in the rain. And I brought my umbrella with me. An umbrella I had purchased actually at a store I really like. So I don't want to criticize the store.
Why not? They sold
But-
you a faulty product.
No, but I open up the umbrella and I'm walking, and the wind is severe. I hold the umbrella into the wind. Arms of it start to snap. I get completely drenched. I end up throwing the umbrella in a garbage can on my way to the event, where there were 3 other umbrellas in the garbage can. And it occurred to me as I was throwing it in there, I was like, what is wrong with umbrellas? Why is there this bait and switch going on of good umbrellas being sold and nothing lasts? They don't make umbrellas that last anymore.
That is not true. So here's the thing, and I sustain this as well. And listen, I don't know how windy it was, but I was away for the weekend up in Toronto with Geoff, and Geoff can attest that on Saturday it was like 50-mile-per-hour winds in the city. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many umbrellas are going to hold up to that style of wind. That's not really what they're not made for wind. They're made for rain. But I do get your point, because I've had crappy umbrellas turn inside out on me, and what are you going to do? They're broke, they're useless at that point, you throw them in the garbage. But I have found, and this was an investment I made about 3 years ago, that I actually paid up. I paid up for an umbrella, Tim. And I never had those problems again. How much did you pay for this umbrella?
Because of the design on it from the from the department store, I spent a good amount of money.
How much did you pay for the umbrella?
Oh,
Over under $100 for the umbrella.
I think it was like $100.
Okay, so that should be a better quality umbrella. You, sir, probably shouldn't go back. Well, what's the name of the store that sold you this cheap umbrella?
No, I'm not going to talk about it. But just the fact is the umbrellas these days just don't seem, by and large, to last. The same weekend, I sent my folks, because it was their 40th anniversary, I sent them to a hotel for the night. And they didn't have umbrellas. They were going out to get something. And so, of course, hotels provide you with umbrellas. This is a nice hotel. And they were telling me the exact same thing happened to them, that the wind snapped the arm of their umbrella, too. And I was like, see, umbrellas just don't work anymore.
Well, how hard, like how windy was it? Like, was it
very and raining torrentially? You could have called it a hurricane, but
if it's a hurricane, Tim, the umbrella's not going to work in that circumstance.
I need to be kept dry. I don't like getting wet, and umbrellas should be there to protect me.
Well, maybe you should wear a fucking rain jacket then.
I wore a rain jacket and I got soaked through it because the rain.
Well, maybe you need to buy a better rain jacket.
Well, maybe I do then.
I mean, truth of the matter is, Tim, the umbrellas, it's not really meant, like, you would be complaining if you're in like a true windstorm and your umbrella's not holding up. Like, it's just meant, that's all.
So what am I supposed to walk around with then when it's incredibly rainy and incredibly windy? Nothing. The umbrella is just there for when things are mild, when it's a light shower, and when it's really rainy, you just have to grin and bear it. No, umbrellas should be there to protect me.
If it's really windy,
when it's really windy,
I guarantee you that in like Scotland and England, they have the best umbrellas because it's always windy.
Do you only say that because you watch Mary Poppins?
No, I know, but I bet you, for example, the bumper shoots that come in Rolls Royces, I bet you they're like of top quality and they don't break in the wind like all the ones around the city here did.
Yeah,
okay, so how
bamboo stick?
Yeah, how much do you think those cost to buy, Tim?
Well, you can't buy them. You have to get them.
All right, let's say an equivalent made umbrella that would come in a Rolls Royce. How much do you think one of those umbrellas would cost? $2,000?
Probably I was going to say $2,000-$3,000.
All right, then go spend $2,000-$3,000 on an umbrella. You won't have this problem.
Well, but I don't want to do that.
Well, I'm sorry, Tim.
Like, I don't see why you should have to spend that kind of money on an essential necessity. Umbrellas should not be snapping like this all the time in the wind. And it was very annoying. It was very annoying to me. And the fact that it happened to my parents too with good umbrellas the same day just confirmed what I needed to know. And as I mentioned to Paul on Sunday, that my folks went out for the hotel and there was an all-you-could-eat breakfast buffet, and they came home with 2 muffins, 3 oranges, and 2 bottles of orange juice from this all-you-can-eat buffet. So I just want, again, this is what people do.
So this behavior we now
are stealing fruit.
Yeah, it's learned behavior on your part. So maybe we shouldn't be so hard on you about it. Maybe we should phone up Doug and just yell at him. Like, what are you doing?
The other thing I'm really angry about, and I'm really angry about this, and like talk about people you don't have real problems, but this is a problem to me. I don't understand why Wendy's has to make all these different flavored Frosties now. For the longest time, the only Frosty was chocolate. And that was the way it was forever. And when they came up with that vanilla one a few years ago, I warned everybody who'd listened to me. As another example of me being John the Baptist. I was the only person out there screaming about how once you allow some other flavor in, next thing you know, every single fancy flavor of Frosty on earth is going to exist. And so then strawberry came in for a bit. The other day, I'm going to Wendy's to try out that new pub burger with the world's worst bun, aka a pretzel bun, and I see that there's a caramel latte Frosty now, and I was just enraged.
Did they hold on? Did they make you eat it?
No, but I had to see the big advertisement in front of the store as I drove by, and I was like, here we go. The Frosty, the original chocolate Frosty, is one of the great desserts.
Did they discontinue the chocolate?
No, but the fact
are you more insane? Absolutely.
It's
you literally just said you got enraged.
Enraged.
They went to vanilla, you got enraged. They went to strawberry, you got angrier. Now they've gone to caramel latte, you're enraged.
Because I knew it was going to happen, that they were going to just water down, and they're trying to encourage people not to get the real good Frosties, but to get these fancy highfalutin millennial Frosties. Because, oh, well, if we can't have all these fancy flavors you've never heard of, we're not going to have it. Like, it really makes me upset.
Can I give you the number one Wendy's pro tip?
Go ahead.
By the way, that is a nice pretzel bun that they have there.
Well, but yes, a nice pretzel bun is an oxymoron.
The Wendy's pro tip is, and I believe we've said it before, Tim, but the liquid cheese that they'll put on a baked potato, you get a little side cup of that for $0.25, and you dip your fries in that.
I think that's a very good idea. I endorse that idea. I don't know if we talked about it, but I definitely endorse that idea. But yeah, the multi-flavored Frosties, it makes me so angry. There's only supposed to be one type of Frosty, the chocolate Frosty. That's the way it always was. And there's no need. It worked fine. It worked fine. It was sort of quirky and neat and cool about it. That it was like the Model T. The only color you could get was black. Well, the only Frosty you could get was chocolate. And that was great. But no. Some VP who had nothing better to do with his time at the Wendy's Corp had to dream up all these ways to befuddle and it just makes me so angry that they bring these new Frosty flavors. You know they're not going to stop here. You know this is not going to be the last one. There's going to be pina colada Frosties, and there's going to be orange flavored Frosties, and there's going to be cookies and cream. It won't stop here. And like you can say, oh, these are only the things that people who don't have any problems worry about, but it matters to me. It really matters.
Well, I think it really matters to you because you kind of hit on it. You know, this isn't how it was. You know, cars, they only came in one color. Geoff, you should hear him talk about where people are allowed to sit anywhere they want on a bus. It is outrageous.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I'm talking about trying not to mess around with perfect flavor combinations. The Frosty is not quite ice cream.
Hold on,
Can you not get the thing that you like anymore?
I shouldn't have to ask for a chocolate Frosty. I should never, ever have to do that. It should just be given to me.
If you just say Frosty, they'll give you a chocolate one.
You think that'll happen with the 17 different flavors they have on tap now?
How many flavors do they actually have?
I think
Pat,
two.
They have two, do they?
Yes, just two at once. They have chocolate, and then they've been rotating in some other flavor. It's not like chocolate's never not been available. You're so weird.
I guarantee
you're angry.
When you roll through the drive-through this week, you get your 14th pretzel bun of this promotion. You ask for a Frosty, Geoff, and then say, "I'd like a medium Frosty, please," and see whether they ask you chocolate.
Can I tell you what I did at Wendy's? Because I didn't want all this fancy pub cheese or whatever they're putting on that pretzel bun burger. Tim, is I just get the classic single, and I say I'd like to upgrade that to a pretzel bun, and it was delicious. Delicious.
No,
you know what? I lied. Not a classic single. I got them to put a pretzel bun on a Baconator. Yeah.
And because you had to ask that, did you almost have a heart attack full of rage because you had to ask?
No, but Geoff's asking for. Geoff's ordering off menu. You've got to ask when you're ordering off menu. I'm asking for the most. It's like going at McDonald's and ordering a Big Mac and being asked, "Oh, what type of Big Mac is that?" Like, there's only one real type. Stop doing this to me. Just leave it alone.
What was the last time? Question for you. When was the last time you ordered a Frosty at Wendy's?
6 months ago.
This is a really big part of your life, is it?
It matters to me. Okay.
Maybe you should invest in things that matter
You get
more.
so you remember Pat when he had to pull
over because he saw the
KFC
green on
had a
KFC.
green sign.
Yeah.
That matters to me too. If I have to engage in a rearguard action to protect the fast food chains that I love for making terrible
You don't
mistakes,
even like Wendy's.
I actually do like a lot of things about Wendy's, but it's a love-hate relationship. There are things about Wendy's that drives me up the wall.
Like the
But there are
spicy
also things
chicken,
that
which
are
is
like-
amazing.
Well, I don't hate Wendy's for that. The spicy chicken is just a terribly overrated sandwich. It's okay. It's just not great. But like there are things about Wendy's, and I have memories of going to Wendy's with family members. So there's a nostalgia to Wendy's. So
But
when I
they've been
see them,
renovated. They don't look like that shanty that you were visiting in 1992.
I understand that all things change, but some things change because they need to, and other things decay from their change.
But nothing has changed. You can still order what you want to order.
But I don't have to ask for it.
You don't even know if that's true or not. You are building this. You are building up something that doesn't matter in your mind to be triggered about.
I guarantee if you told the lady I want a medium frosty, she would not put. I guarantee she would say, "Oh, which flavor?" If
I guarantee you that she would say to me, or he would say to me, "Would you like to try the caramel macchiato
I bet you they
frosty?"
wouldn't.
I guarantee they're asked to upsell it and like get people to buy it.
And what if they did? You can say no. I would like a chocolate frosty, please. Oh my God, that was so hard. That was so hard. My life is so inconvenienced.
I'll PayPal you your. You don't have PayPal.
Tim doesn't have PayPal.
I'll mail you. I'll mail you a 20.
Put a money order in the mail.
Yeah, go to Western Union, get a money order shipped off to Tim. He can have it in 4 to 6 weeks.
Anyway, you can say this is silly or whatever, but
yes, I mean, silly would be underselling it. Sad would be the proper way to say it.
It matters to me. There are certain staples of places that I love that I am very protective of because I can see what's going to happen before it even happens. And I knew when they brought those vanilla frosties in, I knew this was going to happen. And
by next summer, they might even offer you a frosty and a waffle cone. Those sick animals.
Well, see, I don't think they will because frosties don't quite hold up to the cone, right? Like they're not quite an ice cream. They're not quite a shake. Like they don't quite like they're a chameleon. They're sui generis, which is what I like about Frosties. I like the flavor. It's very rich and tasty. It's probably better for you than most ice creams. I like
it.
When you say better for you, what does that mean? Better for you than most ice creams. What does that mean?
I think it probably has less sugar and fewer calories.
Wendy's is
why
my
do
daughter's
I
favorite
gotta ask?
restaurant.
Why do you think that?
It's not as heavy. It's not as dense. It just.
I think it's like milk. It's like a milk base. So
it stands to reason that if you were choosing an ice cream or a dairy treat option, that the Frosty's probably the way to go compared to like a Blizzard or a McFlurry or something.
Well, those are much bigger.
Well, you can get a large Frosty that's probably as big, if not bigger, than a Blizzard, right?
I would doubt it. It feels like a Blizzard's very it's really packed in there. I feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck with a Blizzard or McFlurry.
They are very dense.
Where you don't with a Frosty.
But Tim, were you furious years ago when they really tried to sizzle up the Frosty and they would add they'd give you a side of like crushed Oreos?
Yes, I remember my grandmother and I complaining about this once. Like look at that.
They give you a bag of crushed Oreo on the side. And you complain that they've given you something
you're telling me that
choose not to use.
So you're telling me the Frosty that I loved for 35 years of my life was actually not good enough. That actually we need to give you something to make it better. Like it doesn't taste well. It's like when I used to go to my grandmother's for supper. If I put ketchup or mustard on her food, she'd be furious. Oh, I don't make good enough food for you. You need to cover it in condiments. Like that's essentially what you're doing by putting crushed up Oreo pieces.
And who are you
on
offending, Wendy?
I'm saying that they made the wrong choice. It's good as it is. It's perfect as it is. You don't need to accommodate all these people.
How does when you and your grandmother go complain together? Can you lay that out for me?
We usually don't complain together. We complain separately. I was telling the story to Pat the other day that she got very upset at the bank because, like me, she wipes down the whole ATM with her Lysol wipe before she begins. But there was no room in the slot, like to put where the receipts go to put her garbage in. So she had to carry this Lysol wipe around the mall to find a garbage can for it. And I was like, I sympathize with that. I'm not that bad.
I don't want to be rude to your beautiful grandmother. I bet you she missed like 4 garbage cans,
maybe,
which
it's
is
possible.
fair.
It's possible. Anyway, my point is, laugh all you want about this. People who are listening, who are passionate, like we're passionate about the fast food industry, will probably feel the way
See, I disagree. I'm passionate about the fast food industry.
Oh, you can get cereal, Tim.
I love their ability to just constantly
I bet you that's awesome.
Swing and miss. Like, that's part of it. I'll try it. Some will be a hit. A lot will be a miss. Yeah.
Well,
I think that's no problem.
That's a really good point, because Tim, it really clamors for the day that McDonald's pizza comes back. But the reason that McDonald's pizza went away is because no one fucking liked it.
No, people loved it.
Oh yeah, they loved it so much it's been gone for 30 years.
I sent Tim a documentary on it.
There were technical challenges. It was very popular. People did adore it, but it had to do with the speed with which they could pump the pizzas out.
Well, if it was so good, you think people would wait?
Well, it's hard in a drive-thru, right? It starts to back things up. So I get that in 2021 we should be able to figure that out, but. Yeah, I mean, there are always exceptions that prove rules. Not every advance is a bad thing, but when you've got a staple and a classic and things are going great, leave it alone. Leave it alone.
So I did some research while you were talking here. So a 12-ounce Oreo McFlurry from McDonald's has 200 calories, and a 12-ounce Frosty from Wendy's has 350 calories.
That is hard to believe. I mean, I believe you're quoting the numbers, but I find I'm surprised to know that.
Why would you find
by this?
Why would you find that?
I'm shocked.
Why would you find that hard to believe? You, the guy who said that olive oil had 0 calories, you seem to have no grasp about what is in anything or how many calories there are in things.
It just seems like Frosties are light, like Geoff and I said, like they're lighter, they're more milky, less ice creamy. They don't have the additional stuff that Frosties have.
Apparently, there's a lot more sugar in Frosties than there is in McFlurries.
I find that surprising as well.
Well, because McFlurry is literally just that vanilla like milk ice cream that you get at McDonald's mixed with Oreo pieces.
Whereas I imagine the Frosty is just vanilla ice cream with cocoa powder, right?
But I'll tell you, when I get a McFlurry, it's been a while, but I'll pay up. I'll have them pump a squeeze of fudge in there before they put it through the shaker.
The Smarties one is the best one there. I haven't had a Smarties McFlurry in a long time, but that used to be the GOAT McFlurry.
Okay, good to know. All right, well, triggered by umbrellas that don't work in hurricanes and Frosties at Wendy's.
Me and Tim would make a great.
People have problems. I mean, December is a really hard month for a lot of people with the holidays coming if they've lost family members, and there's really a lot to feel down about. And Tim has like sympathy pains with stuff that doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter to you
or anyone.
And if nothing else,
Tim would make a good like Sonic commercial.
Nuts.
Yes, Geoff and I would make a great Sonic commercial.
Slushies and shakes.
There we go. Let's get to the late set of games. Unless you got something else that you're like weirdly mad about.
No, those are the things that were bothering me this week.
Are you mad that like people are using, I don't know, iPhones to listen to music and not Walkmans? Is that triggering you right now?
Look, the days of MP3s, I believe, was the high point of music listening, and it's all been downhill since then.
I mean, that's all the same stuff. You're still downloading. Well, you're still downloading MP3s onto your phone.
I'm not. You know this. I listen to music through YouTube on my phone. I don't know any other way to listen to it. I don't use the Spotify. I don't use the iTunes or the iMusic or the Amazon Music or whatever. I go to the YouTube. I open it up. I listen to the music that way. That's how I listen to music.
But
and then you listen to a song, and then you listen to 2 15-second commercials.
You can usually skip past those pretty quickly. And it's usually after the second song that you have to skip. But whatever, that's what I know. It's what I'm comfortable with.
So it's like radio play.
Yeah, whatever. I don't mind that. Oh, gee, I have to listen to 10 seconds of an advertisement that's curated to me, and it's probably something I want to purchase anyway. So, like, what's the harm?
But if you don't pay for YouTube Premium, that means you have to have the YouTube app open that entire time. That you couldn't do anything else on your phone, or the music would stop.
Yeah, that's true, but whatever. I'm listening to music.
And you're really using a lot of data. I don't know how big your data plan is, but that means you're streaming a video the entire time, too.
Yeah, but like I'm often on Wi-Fi, so using Wi-Fi data. for
You
that.
listen to music in the most suboptimal way one could possibly do music.
Well, this is what I know, and this is what I'm comfortable with. I used to have the iTunes when it was free, and like I had my CDs and everything, I like downloaded to it. But then like one day it was gone, and I don't understand how to get it back. And like I had to put all my CDs into my computer and like upload the songs onto the iTunes. But like I don't have any slots on my computer for CDs anymore, so I can't do that. So like it's like that. Anyway, things have just become more inconvenient for people.
Oh yeah. Spotify is the world's most inconvenient app where you type.
I don't know how to use it. I don't understand it.
So what is it, like just a lot of Anne Murray and Rita McNeil, like on your YouTube recents?
No, it is. Well, I have listened to those people in the past.
Have you ever beat off to Reba?
Reba McEntire?
Yeah. Oh, so you're
No.
it felt like you were gonna say yes to that. But there was a really pronounced pause there. You having Reba beats?
No. I did used to watch that show when I was younger, though.
And have beats?
No.
Sure.
What are you talking about, Tim?
Tim ruined some tube socks watching Reba, the show.
Oh, my goodness.
What about the Sunday night sex show?
Oh, with Sue?
Yeah.
You ever watch that, Tim?
Canada.
I've heard of it. I'm sure perhaps I caught an episode or two. I don't have any
Oh.
memories of it.
Did you used to call in to the line under fake names and be like, look, Sue.
No, I was busy calling.
I was watching Reba and I was having beats. Is this
I was
normal? It's normal, right? I'm Reba.
I was busy calling into the local sports show every week instead.
Yeah, then we found out that guy beat up his wife or something like that last week. Your buddy.
Yeah, that's terrible. I didn't know the guy. I just called into the sports show.
Can you imagine, Geoff, if you were hosting a sports program that had viewer call-ins and Tim was the person who was always calling in?
They loved having me call in. They always put my call through every week.
Well, it was a local cable access sports show. You might have been the only person who ever called in.
No, there was also another old man who would call
What did
in.
you call to talk about?
Whatever was going on in the world of sports that week.
The Jets.
Sometimes any number. They talk about the Expos or talk about the Jets or just anything, whatever was on the go that week that I was interested in.
It's like a PBS sports show.
No, it
Like,
was like you know how you have like the Rogers station and like
Yeah, Rogers cable.
access.
Yeah, it was like a
it's like
public
what,
access
like
show.
whatever like Wayne's World was being like in the world of Wayne's World, whatever Wayne's World, Aurora Access Channel number 6 that it
Yeah, like
broadcast on. It was like that.
Like the shows that the Stern guys call into crank call, Jeff. Like that's essentially the network shows that I was calling.
Nice. So I assume you also did Tradio then?
I didn't call into trade.
Did you know that he used to write the network to get transcripts of the Reba show and read it like it was like a sensual novel, and then have a beat, maybe two.
You're twisted.
Late set of games. Cincinnati at Denver Tap. Denver, 2-point favorite at home. 43.5. I am not going to mince words about this. This is going to be my super lock. When I capped this game, I had it Cincinnati by 3. I don't think these teams are close. I think that Cincinnati is way better, and I can't for the life of me understand how the Broncos are favored in this game. So,
Good.
give me Cincinnati.
We agree. The Bengals are the third part of my teaser. I like the Bengals quite a bit in this spot. I thought that the Broncos. Yeah, I mean, the Broncos were terrible against the Chiefs, and then because they get to play all the worst teams in football this year, like that, which has inflated their record. Yeah, they took care of business against Detroit last week, but that hasn't changed much. When they play against legitimate opponents, I have no trust in the Broncos, and that doesn't change here. I think Chase should be able to devour that secondary. Chase, who's turning the corner to try to make that case to be offensive rookie of the year, needs to have another big game, and I think he gets it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Mac Jones might have this locked up, despite it's just going to be it's going to be based off wins. Like if they get the 1 seed, it's like, hey, rookie quarterback gets 1 seed, rookie of year.
Maybe. Chase had 2 touchdowns last week, and the Bengals get in the playoffs, and he has a big push the last quarter of the season. Chase can totally win it.
I agree with you. He'd have to start doing some pretty crazy stuff at this point, though. Like right now, Jamar Chase is second. He's 3-1. Although Jalen Waddle is 65-1 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Besides Cooper Kupp, he might end up being second in the league in receptions, which is kind of nuts.
Oh, totally. It helps when your quarterback can't throw the ball forwards very well.
Oh, so what you're saying is that Tua would be excellent in 1927 football?
Yes, he would be. He would be good for student body left and student body right.
Yeah, the advent of the forward pass really capped his upside, as it
really
turns out, according to you. So, do you see this the same way we do? You're the Denver guy here. You always got an eye on Denver, Geoff. They're an in-division foe. Or is the West just that much better than all the other divisions that even like crappy Denver can beat them? Beat up on Cincinnati, who I think is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm having a tougher time with this one, and I'm actually going to play it the other side, strictly based on the fact, Pat, that I have not seen a single person vouch for picking Denver this week. Everyone loves the Bengals. This number could probably continue to rise, but Denver's always been a feisty home team. Give me and the Bengals off of a very demoralizing overtime loss, where they would have been maybe even first place in the division had they won, and instead they're 9 seeds. So a real desperate situation for them. Every week's important for Denver. I'm going to be one of the lone people on Denver, and that has to do with really it's early in the week and there's not a ton of bets, but we're already over 80% Cincinnati money on this football game.
As it should be. I feel like they should be favored in this game. I think that they win this game, so we're getting points. It sounds fantastic to me. So Cincinnati for everyone besides Geoff. Atlanta and San Francisco. The Shanahan Bowl. Niners favored by 9.5 at home. 45.5 is the over-under. Tim, I'll let you take this one away. Where are you going in this? Because I feel like San Francisco is going to win. But the Falcons, would there be... Because I know you hate Miami. And I think the Falcons ended up... Did the Falcons beat Miami earlier this year? Did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody beat Miami to start the year. They started 1-7.
Oh, yeah, and then they got better. But, Atlanta's bad, right? Really bad. I don't know
Atlanta's bad, but San Francisco is a week removed from giving away a game to Seattle. Right, so don't think for a moment. And they were up 20-6, and then we're down in overtime somehow to the Bengals. The Niners are very good at being dumb, even though they're incredibly skilled. And this is just exactly the type of game that Atlanta would win to mess things up. And with that in mind, I'm going to take the Falcons and the points. I don't trust the Niners to cover this spread. I don't think they have not earned that benefit yet. The Niners are a lot like the Bills of the AFC. The people keep giving them, for obvious reason, they're a very talented football team. They give them a ton of clout, despite being 7-6 and having done a bunch of dumb things and lost a ton of winnable games. They're much better than their record suggests, and that is true of Buffalo as well. And this is just a classic trap game where everyone in the world thinks the Niners are going to win comfortably, and either they win it super close in OT or they lose. And I'm going to take the Falcons here.
Most people are on the Falcons, so I don't think that people are just blindly picking San Fran.
I will take San Fran against the number. I just think this is a really horrible matchup for Atlanta's offense. Maybe they score more points than they scored 21, 17, 29 the last 3 weeks, and that was against the Jags, Panthers, and Buccaneers. 29 against the Panthers, okay. 21 against the Jags, probably should be more. None against the Patriots, 3 against the Cowboys. The Bucs game, it's a division game, but at the same time, I think they scored did they have a defensive touchdown in that game? Didn't they pick Brady weirdly on the 1 yard line or something?
Yeah, right before the half, I think.
Yeah, so offensively they weren't really able to put it up. I just don't think they can score enough points here to do what Tim is saying, that if San Francisco gets up 24-10, are they really going to rally back? I think unless their defense does it, and I don't think that San Francisco is going to play that game with them. Just run all over them now that everyone is getting close to healthy again. So I'll take San Francisco to cover a big one. I don't feel great about it, though.
Hard game because I am one of those people that probably are giving San Fran more credit than they deserve. I'm also one of those people with a big Super Bowl future on them. So I guess by nature of that wager, I believe they're a good team. Problem with Atlanta guys is, as we've noticed, they play really well in a certain class of team.
Yes.
Wins against
Panthers.
Jags, Panthers, Giants, Jets, even the Dolphins, as you mentioned. Obviously, when the Dolphins were getting their butt kicked by a lot of teams, and they've really gotten whooped by the better teams. I believe San Fran is that. Therefore, it leads me wanting to pick San Francisco. Whoa, stop the clock. This is where I'm going to take Atlanta, guys. Overtime game last week for 49ers. Thursday night football next week versus the Titans. Give me Atlanta. I'm taking these points.
You going to bet this game for real, you think?
I don't know. No, because there's about 2 or 3 I'm thinking for my super lock, and this isn't there. But I'll take Atlanta on these points.
All right. Green Bay and Baltimore. The Packers are 5-point favorites in Baltimore. I don't think Lamar is going to play in this game. Do you guys?
I don't think so. They don't need him to play, and it's an NFC game, which would have no bearing on tiebreak. So
yeah, but they're in a spot where they need some fucking wins here too.
They do, but like they have an excellent chance to lose this game even with Lamar at full strength. Why risk it? Unless he's good to play, give him the week off. Huntley looked fine. Let him play. If they lose, they lose. They'll still be no worse than tied for the lead in the division. So yeah, I wouldn't take any risks with Jackson because the Ravens are still very, very likely to make the playoffs.
I don't know. I don't know about
still
that.
They have a game lead on all these teams. They still have. There's only 4 weeks left.
They have a game lead, and they play the Packers, Bengals, Rams, and Steelers. They may have the toughest schedule of any team remaining.
Yeah, I mean the Steelers. It is a tough schedule. I'll say that, but like playing Lamar is not. It still puts them in a world of difficulty because the Packers are going to win and cover this game. That's why.
Okay, so just Packers, regardless of who plays at 5 points.
Yeah,
maybe
I
5
am
points
inclined
is
to pick
generous.
the Packers. Yeah, I'm inclined to pick the Packers here.
He's trying to.
They're playing well.
He's trying to curse off the Packers here, Geoff. You see what he's doing.
I see what he's doing, but I'm one of these people. Like I'm gonna just buy into the fumes. The fumes. That is the Ravens. They've lost so many key people going back to the summer. And they ran hard and they ran tough and they gave an effort, but it's like a horse that's just out of gas. I don't see the next month being kind to them at all. Packers cover easy.
Is there anyone who's going to bet Baltimore in this game at 5?
I mean, I can understand it because like the Ravens cover every week. They come back from crazy deficits and either win games.
The Ravens are 6-7 against the spread this year.
They seem like every game where they're blown out, they just find a way to weasel their way back in. I'm actually surprised to hear they're 6-7. I would have thought
the Packers.
Maybe
the Packers are 11-2 against the spread.
They sure are. The Packers have been fantastic at covering spreads, which is why I'm taking Green Bay. But I could understand the Ravens finding a way to lose this game by 4 points or something, right?
I'm going the other way here. I'm going to take Baltimore, almost like when I blindly took Jacksonville for no apparent reason earlier, where there's something tricky about this number that I don't quite trust or understand, and I can't imagine. And like I'm looking at a different place other than DraftKings Sportsbook right now. It's at 4.5. Like you would think that this would start ballooning up, especially with us not knowing about Lamar. It's really weird that they put a number on this game without knowing whether Lamar's playing or not, isn't it?
The way they've done it all year. I can only remember one game, maybe all season, but this year they're just hanging lines. They're not like waiting this year for whatever reason. I've noticed that too, but it just week after week, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I can't get behind Baltimore at all. Like there's so many layers from the injury front to the fact that you can make this case that they've been a mirage for quite some time now. A true step up in class, even for a team as good as Baltimore.
Yeah. No, I mean, all logic points to Green Bay here. I'm not going to argue that. So I'm going to go with the illogical move because it's gambling, and I shall take Baltimore in this spot. Seattle at the Rams. So this game opened much higher. It's now at -5. It's already dropped a few points because before we started recording, it turned out that Odell Beckham Jr. had tested positive for COVID-19 after playing in the Monday night game So I feel like they're waiting that if one guy is going down with COVID, that it seems like if there's going to be a COVID train coming in to the LA Rams locker room. Higbee is off the list. He was a false negative. So he should be active for this game because he ended up testing negative coming out of it. Seattle's just doing typical Seattle stuff. I have no read on if they're good or if they're bad at this point. Maybe they weren't as bad as they looked for the few weeks coming back when Russell Wilson was still injured yet playing. And they've been pretty good the past few weeks. They beat the Niners. They blew out the Texans. Although that game was a bit close in the first half, and then they just kind of ran away with it and were by far the superior team in the second half. I don't know what to make of this because 5 in division seems like a lot. Seattle's not technically eliminated yet, but the Rams, by all accounts, despite their up and downs, when you look at the same numbers that say that the Bills are still a top 6 team in the NFL, all these numbers are going to have the Rams as the best team in the NFL. And if they're only down Beckham, I don't really care about that. As long as they have Matt Stafford and they have Cooper Kupp and they have Aaron Donald, I think that they're going to be fine. Those guys are players that are worth points against the spread. I don't think that Odell Beckham is. Your third receiver is not worth points against the spread. I hate to say it.
And the Seahawks are terrible. Let's not forget that point. This spread is way too short. It should be 7. We got to play the Rams here.
Make it the 3 of us. I'm only betting this game or picking this game with the information I have at the time. And to sort of Pat's point, losing Odell doesn't scare me. Give Van a bigger role. Give Sokolowski, whatever his name is, a bigger role. That he doesn't fall into the core group of players that would scare me. They just won a game with Jalen Ramsey last night versus a much better team. Just keep it coming. I got a lot of Ram stack in my home league, so yeah, all the Stafford. But I'm not here for Seattle. Seattle just beat the shit out of the worst team in football. I don't care.
Seattle versus the Rams. I remember when Seattle was good and the Rams were bad, that the Rams would always give them a game. It'd always be like, how the hell were these two teams close? And for whatever reason,
that Monday night game.
Which Monday night game?
It cost you the keeper playoffs that year. We had 15 points on defense.
What year was that?
2013, 2014. It was multiple safeties or something in that game.
That Monday night game. That when you say that, remember that Monday night game from?
I remember
from 9 years ago.
They also played in the playoffs this year.
This year?
Well, in 2021.
Oh, who won that game? The Rams?
Yes.
Yeah, the fact that you can remember this stuff off the top of your head just is absolutely mind-boggling. Stuff gets pushed out of my head each week because I need to talk about the stuff of this week. I couldn't tell you what happened in 2013 in a meaningless game against the Seahawks and Rams. But lately, now that the Rams have been good, have the Seahawks been giving them games?
No, honestly, I don't know how the last game between these two went. Have they played yet this year?
2021, October 7th. The Rams won 26-17. Rams 30-20 in the playoffs. Seahawks 20-9. Rams 23-16. Rams 28-12. Seahawks 30-29. Okay. So it's been the Rams either covering or winning most of these times. So yeah, it's around the Rams, including the coin for us all. I don't like this week. It's not good. Sunday night. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is favored by 10.5 at home. They continue to cover a lot of these big spreads at home. They continue to cover at home as we go through it. 46.5 is the over-under. I'm going to blindly take New Orleans, who has beat Tom Brady in every regular season game since he's been in Tampa Bay. I don't know what it is about this team, but the Saints defense, at least in non-playoff situations, really gives Brady a lot of problems. And where Tampa's defense is a bit overrated against the run because they were so good last year, but they're not that good this year, that I think that the Saints can effectively have some long drives in this game by running with Taysom, running with Kamara, just doing what they do on offense. I think they have enough get up and go to cover the 10.5 here. I don't think the Saints are going to win outright, but I think it's going to be relatively close because almost like last time, somehow the Saints defense is going to get Brady into a hole. He's going to have to come back. He's going to come back, but eventually when you have to come back in these games where you're down by 10 or something like that in the third quarter, it's hard to cover the 10.5 on the other side. So I will take New Orleans.
Sean
Yeah.
Payton appears to be a wizard as it pertains to Tom Brady.
I
Last year,
I feel like no one, like, you want to talk about like the Raiders dancing on the Chiefs logo to be disrespected. A movie coming out about Sean Payton, where Sean Payton is being played by fucking Kevin James. That's gonna light a fire under Sean Payton. That man is like twice Sean Payton's size.
yeah, that would be like the life story of Beyonce being played by Oprah. No, I get it. Like, what the hell is this? I saw that trailer today, Pat. Like, that's if you're Sean Payton, you gotta be hyper insulted.
That's why I
Like,
said
at least
there's
they'll get me,
there's
like,
gonna be
Bill
a
Pullman or something.
Yeah, there's gonna be. I think he's dead, or is that Bill Paxton?
Oh shit!
It's one of the two. Maybe they're both dead. I don't know. But it's like the Cliff Kingsbury
Paxton.
movie with Tim Andercust as Cliff Kingsbury. Like, it's gonna be really
Like,
weird.
is Steve Gutenberg too busy?
Goot.
Yeah. What was the last thing Steve Gutenberg was in?
He was in an awesome
What, with the
episode of
Olsen
Party
twins?
Down.
Which was forever ago.
There was an awesome episode of Party Down where they have to cater Steve Gutenberg's party, and then he had the party canceled, and he forgot to tell them. They showed up, and he just hung out with the catering crew the entire time. It was great. The Goot living his best
guys
life out there.
You guys made my points for me that in the regular season, New Orleans seems to be Tampa's kryptonite. So we're taking them up to 17.
Oh God!
And we're going to play the Saints here. It's prime time. We know how the Buccaneers struggle in prime time. We know that they struggle against the Saints more often than not. It's a perfect storm to get over 10 points with New Orleans, and I'm going to take it.
Are you taking them too, Geoff?
Yes.
Who should play Sean Payton?
Like, even Matt Damon would make more sense.
Matt Damon, I could see. Matt Damon's a bit young, I think, to be playing Sean
Yeah,
Payton.
he's a bit young and he's a little too high profile also. So I'm not really looking for, like, thinking A-list per se, but I don't know. You could get Will Arnett to play Sean Payton.
Will
He's a little too
Arnett could
tall.
play Sean Payton. I think you were dead on that. I would be
He's a little too-
furious if Kevin James played me in a movie. Just like how Art Howe was furious that Philip Seymour
Funny.
Hoffman played him in Moneyball.
I was thinking about that when you were talking about people who look nothing like the people who portrayed them. Now, Philip Seymour Hoffman was one of the greatest actors
No, but
of our
isn't the
generation,
rule...
but Art Howe looked
Hold
nothing
on.
like Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, he was
isn't
like...
the rule...
Go ahead.
Like, by and large, the rule seems to be for these sorts of things is the person who the story's about, like someone who's much more attractive plays the person. This is the complete opposite. They've gotten someone way more out of shape to play the person. Usually it's the other way. It's like that person's way too pretty to play her. Like, that's not fair.
Like Kevin James could theoretically play Rex Ryan in a movie.
Yeah, he can
Yeah,
play
I
me.
suggested he could have played Greg Williams.
Yeah. Do you know this? Do you know this movie is a comedy that's about the year that Sean Payton had off because he was suspended?
Like, I would think
Yeah,
like Ryan Reynolds
he was
would
a
be a
kid's
good person
football
for this.
coach.
Ryan Reynolds maybe a bit too attractive and a bit too young to be playing Sean Payton.
Or Jason Sudeikis.
If it wasn't for Ted Lasso, I think maybe you could be
Yeah,
onto something with
pre
that.
Lasso, Sudeikis could do it. Even like Colin Yost. Now that you got me thinking in sort of that
Yeah, if it's going to be a comedy.
that sort of a frame. But yeah, Kevin James should be playing the Freddie Kitchens story.
He could be Bruce Strong. He could be him, or Chuck Strong, or he could actually play Bruce Arians. Probably like right around, how old's Bruce Arians? Is he like 70?
It's got to be in his 60s anyway.
Yeah, so like in the Chuck Pagano story from 10 years ago, where the hell that was, Kevin James could play Bruce Arians in that movie.
Yeah.
Steve
Sorry.
Carell would be excellent.
I
in that.
didn't know that, like, geez. Yeah, Kevin James should be like the Russ Grimm.
Who's playing Kurt Warner in the Kurt Warner movie, which I'm weirdly excited about?
I don't even know the guy's name. Comes out Christmas Day, I think.
Are you going to go see it?
I'd rather watch the Madden documentary, but I'll watch it from home. I'm not going to the theater to see a Kurt Warner movie.
American Underdog. Starring
Zach-
I feel like
Zachary-
Anna Paquin is playing Kurt Warner's wife.
What? I thought it was going to be Kate from John and Kate +8.
Okay.
They had like the same haircut.
Oh, so the guy who played Chuck from Chuck. That's who's playing Kurt Warner. Okay.
That means
Yeah, I knew he was from a show that I
Zach
never
Levi.
watched.
Yeah, Zachary Levi.
Yeah, from a show no one watched besides Garion.
Okay, but it was on primetime network television.
Yeah, it
so-
was.
And for like several years. So yeah, it people know about Chuck.
Do you think that they do?
I think they do. Yes. Again, it was a major network TV show. These things are just in the ether.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
It's
go.
really off topic.
Sure.
What happens? Like, what is? Never mind. It's just
No,
there's no point in me asking the question. But I just wanted curious. Like, if the Chargers do beat the Chiefs, is it going to be like they can win the Super Bowl conversation?
Absolutely.
I think that they're live to win the Super Bowl. What they need to do is be the Packers from 2010, and they just all of a sudden need to get super hot on defense. Or like Derwin
Yeah.
James needs to turn into Bob Sanders, like the year that the Colts won the Super Bowl, and like all of a sudden their defense didn't suck.
Okay.
We'll be rooting for you, Jeff. Believe me.
Like their offense is good enough to go with anyone. Can their defense hold up? Like the Chiefs are playing right now. Like the Chiefs had the worst defense in the league, and all of a sudden they have the best defense in the league. How did that happen? I don't know.
Well, I guess
Frank
I could
Clark
only
came
hope.
back.
Yeah, maybe as they get more familiar with the defensive coach's scheme, but we'll see. No, there's more games, right?
Yeah, speaking of the Chargers, the NFC Chargers, the Minnesota Vikings, are at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are only 3.5-point underdogs in this game. 44 is the over-under. Why is it only 3.5? What are they doing to me here? Like, the Vikings are way better than the Bears.
Because before people fell asleep on Sunday night, they saw the Bears play really well. That's my hunch.
Were they really playing that well? Like, it felt like, are they really going to score like 3 80-yard touchdowns again?
Oh, I'm with you. I mean, Kirk Cousins is notoriously terrible on Monday Night Football, and it's outdoors. It'll be freezing cold, and it's just the Vikings screw up every single week. And even being up 29-0 last week was barely enough runway for them because they almost threw that game away too. It was not 29-0, and I stopped watching and went to bed and watched the highlights. Like, wow, they almost did it again. So I can see people being trepidatious about betting on Minnesota. That being said, I'm going to take the Vikings because I don't learn my lesson, and I'm going to just keep riding with Kirk Cousins, who has 4 interceptions this year. The one he threw last week was a tip ball. Like he's having a remarkable season that people don't want to give him credit for, and I'm taking him.
Did you know, Jeff, that Packers fans would rather have Kirk Cousins than Aaron Rodgers? I heard that on this show from Tim.
Well, I think they play next week at Lambeau, and I'm very excited about that game.
That's great. The Packers might have the 1 seed clinched.
Almost impossible. They're tied with Tampa. So.
Well, let's go to the MVP odds right now. We'll see who's up there and who's not. Most valuable player, Aaron Rodgers, second in MVP. Where is Kirk Cousins? Oh, Kirk Cousins is 100-1, same as Tua, actually.
No, I mean I think Brady's got it more or less wrapped up as long as he doesn't get hurt. I think it's kind of like baked now.
Sounds like it's time to maybe throw some money on Aaron Rodgers here, Jeff.
No, I suppose I shouldn't say baked.
Up.
I shouldn't say that because I bet you the Packers have one more primetime game left. So maybe if he does shine in that game, okay, fair enough. Maybe
Aaron Rodgers would have to be worthy. Like, he wouldn't just need to win the MVP on merit. He would need to win the MVP on merit times 4.
I agree.
For these people, for a media that in some ways resented having to vote for him last year, would then be forced to vote for him again. And that, I mean, you guys made fun. We talk about it all the time and sort of the human element of these awards. There's just no way. There's no way. So you could put red ink through Rodgers.
Yeah, well,
like Justin Herbert has just as good of a chance as Rodgers.
You might actually be right about that. Because you're right. Because no one wanted to vote for Rodgers last year. So not only, I mean, throw all like the COVID stuff where he dealt with the media, and the media really resented him for that, and it's media members who vote on it, strike him out because of that. It's just really hard to win back-to-back MVPs anyway. People will just want to vote for someone different. So he has both those things working against him. Plus, his numbers aren't as good as Tom Brady's. So something.
And the Brady story is great,
guys.
and the Brady story is safe.
The world will need a hero. The world will need a hero. And maybe that Superman outfit will fit me. But the world will need a hero, because the night before the Super Bowl, Tom Brady's getting his MVP, Belichick's getting his Coach of the Year, Mac is getting his Offensive Rookie of the Year. The world needs a hero to keep that Super Bowl from happening.
Trying to think who that is.
I don't fit into tights very well, folks.
Who is going to be that man to be the hero? Is it Josh Allen, Geoff?
Maybe. You like 15-1 seems to be the high water number.
Is that man Patrick Mahomes?
I would be cheering.
Would you be rooting for the Chiefs against the Patriots?
Yeah, okay. In the scenario in which the AFC is the late game on Championship Sunday,
Which it is not.
and the Bucks have already won, I would cheer for the Chiefs to beat the Patriots.
But the NFC game is the late game this year.
How do you know?
How do you know?
How do you know?
Because
that?
last year the Bucks Packers was the early game.
I think it's all irrelevant. Like,
They switch every year. AFC, NFC alternate each year. And
but I
last
think
year,
if a West Coast team made the game,
no, that's why they play at those stupid times. Why they play at 4 and 7:30.
but a West Coast team's never hosted that.
Seattle did the year they beat Green Bay with the curse touchdown to get into the Super Bowl. Seattle had the early game. That's why they play them at 3 Eastern and 7:30 Eastern, to ensure that a Western team can host. The Broncos did the year they went to the Super Bowl and they beat. Remember, the Broncos did the year they hosted and beat the Patriots, because then Cam Newton spent the whole NFC Championship game lying
What
about not
happens
knowing
if
that the Broncos won.
if in some weird world the Chargers and Rams need to host title games?
They will play on Saturday and Sunday. That the rules already in place for the Jets and Giants too. If that ever happens, they would play them Saturday, Sunday.
I am shocked they actually made that rule for the Jets and Giants.
Well, in 2008, there was a real opportunity for the Jets and Giants to play each other in the Super Bowl. They were on the cover of SI.
Oh, were they?
Let
me ask you, the real chance to play in the Super Bowl, did the Jets make the playoffs that year, Tim?
No, because Favre got hurt in that Seattle game and everything went downhill.
Yeah, for sure. It was going to happen in the Super Bowl. They didn't make the playoffs. They were that good, Geoff. So good.
They were that
playoffs.
good that year.
Yeah,
they were that
very
good.
Are you taking Minnesota or Chicago on Monday Night Football, Geoff?
Minnesota could be super locked.
Okay, so Minnesota for the three of us, Chicago for the coin. Did you see Tim ranting like a crazy person about how they're going to flex games into Saturday, into Week 18, like anyone cares besides Tim?
I bet Jeff's on my side about this because it gives unfair advantages to teams.
We'll see. I think they'll handle it properly as it would pertain to the following.
Well, but that now,
week.
like, there have been years where they don't even flex a Sunday night game into Sunday Night Football. Like 2 years ago,
they're sick of people not wanting to watch these games that don't matter. They want to get people to watch football.
So it's the Saturday. They're going to take 2 playoff implication games away from Sunday and make them on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're not even at the same time, obviously. So I don't know. It seems like it's against the spirit of what the league has been trying to do in the last week of the year for the last 10 years.
Okay, maybe,
so no, I don't.
And maybe they realize, you know what, that really doesn't matter. Who cares? Let's do it this
The
way.
great thing about the NFL,
conditional.
the great thing about the NFL, Tim, though, is they'll try this, and if they don't like it or they think it doesn't work, they'll just scrap it. Like
I
they're
agree.
not.
I think it should be conditional on there being 3 independent games for them to have.
No, if that's the case and all of this stuff matters for an equal playing field, make them all play in the same arena. Rent out like same city, all indoors, don't have elements involved because that's not fair. If people are hurt, let's not play the games. Let's make sure that everyone is on the same playing field. Like, what are we talking about here? Who cares?
Well, this again, the league does, because the league has been scheduling on purpose to ensure that teams that have implications against each other all play at the exact
The league
same
goes
time.
to great lengths to ensure the integrity
Yes. Exactly.
of that. And so my point being is I assume they'll go to incredible lengths to ensure the integrity of the playoff matchups and limit
We'll
any
see.
extra rest to an infinity degree. I will say we're now at the point where, like, part of me wants to cheer against the Bills and cheer against the Colts. Like, these are two teams I don't want to draw wild card weekend. Like, I would rather the Broncos and the Dolphins come
I do
roaring
think there's a
into
real
the
good
sucker.
chance. I will say though, I think there's a real good chance that the Jets Bills may be flexed into that Saturday night game. It could be a win-in situation for the Bills.
Oh, would that give the Jets 2 primetime games this year then?
It would. And it would have us flexed into a primetime game. And if you think I'm beneath taking credit for that, you're very mistaken.
You might. I mean, they've only stipulated the game will have playoff implications. They didn't say that both teams in the game are.
Oh no! Last year, remember they flexed into Sunday Night Football for the last game of the year, Eagles Washington, when the Eagles had no chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, but Washington did.
Correct. So the Bills Jets would be in exactly that type of situation.
But they also want to put never mind, because this is Saturday. But they could put anything they want because a team could still need help. Like, the thing about that Sunday nighter on the last Sunday
that you don't know what you might
is you don't know that status. At least on Saturday, they could put a team that needs 3 other things to happen, but they still need X. So
correct.
I actually think the best case scenario for them is just if things kind of stay as they are within the standings, that you just make all the AFC North play on Saturday.
There it is. Or, Pat, if the West is wild, I believe it's Chargers, Raiders, and Broncos, Chiefs.
Yeah, you could do that too.
Yeah, because in week 18, it's Ravens, Steelers, and Browns and Bengals. And, I mean, both those teams, like, that, no matter who would win the first of those games, it would create, like, different situations for the teams in the later games, theoretically.
We also need to clarify that obviously this would greatly upset Tim. He's literally furious that Wendy's has an alternate Frosty flavor.
I'm still upset about that. It's nonsense.
Just like he was furious about the Chargers jerseys on Sunday.
Yes.
They're the worst of their kit by far. They look like
they have such a nice kit. Someone's got to be last.
And they wear those cheap, ugly looking royal blue ones, and it mars what is otherwise a beautiful kit.
Your team has a black kit.
Our kit is terrible, but I'm not defending our kit.
Yeah, Tim was messaging me. Yeah, I see the Chargers change their avatar. They're wearing those hideous jerseys.
Yes, I did. I did break our Trevor Lawrence chats to talk about that because I really don't like those royal blue ones. They look awful.
All right, well, let's get to our super locks this week. I'm taking Cincinnati +2 in Denver. That is my selection for my super lock. If there's one thing I'm doing okay this year, it's super locks. I'm 11-3. So let's go get this. Probably going to be my gold pick on Friday's show, where I don't think Cam's going to be drunk this time, so it won't be as funny.
What should I do? Well, I'll pick first so that Geoff doesn't have to pick the opposite of me and lose again. I will hit the tee box with the Cleveland Browns -3.
I like that one.
Minnesota 3.5, Geoff.
So I was thinking about Cleveland, but I'll leave that to Tim. I'm thinking about Miami. I'm thinking about Pittsburgh. I'm thinking about Green Bay.
But it's going to be the
Minnesota.
Chargers.
So I'm going to bet a lot of games this week, it seems. Give me the Packers. Fumes. This Ravens team is fumes.
You don't worry
and
that
it's
if
fumes on top of just a season of injury after injury. The attrition, the Ravens are they're just dead. They're running to the finish line without one leg.
Yeah, but they need to win this game so they can drop their next division games to set up the ultimate curse scenario where Miami beats them for the 7 seed in week 18. And that's just how it ends up working out. That's how
that's the Saturday flex.
No, it's all divisional games in week 8.
Yeah, but Miami holds the tiebreak because of that Thursday night game.
They would, unless multiple teams all have the same record. Head-to-head doesn't matter.
That's not how it's going to work because Miami's winning out, I heard that from multiple people, Tim.
Listen, I've been hearing it for weeks. And anyway,
are you basing this all off what your dad tells you?
Not just him. We have lots of friends who are Dolphins fans.
Who have all told you, no, we're not insane like you. We don't think this team is very good.
Or that person who we saw their tweet and it has come to pass that they have run the table ever since he said they were going to run the table.
You mean when he was mocking you?
That's what you said.
Tim is angry that the editor of Dolphins Digest thinks Tua's better than Kyler.
Oh yeah, and that it's decided. You should see Dolphins Reddit is unbearable these days. The boards are unbearable.
Again, why are you going on Dolphins Reddit?
I don't know. I need to know what's going on over there.
Why? It's
I just do okay.
It's the craziest possible people. It's the I live in my parents' basement of the internet. That's what Reddit is.
It's literally like I watch the games. I know I'm insane. I know I'm crazy. I know that I care so much about this measly third down. And then the crowd pans to a guy who's in full regalia with face paint. And I'm like, holy shit. I got a lot of problems. I ain't that.
I think that's very well said. Tim, would you paint your body to go to a Jets game?
I'll tell you what, if they host a playoff game, I promise to go to the game and paint my body.
Would you give Postmaster Ted a hand job to guarantee they went to the Super Bowl?
That's it. Let's wrap up the show. That's enough.
So yes is the answer to that.
Wrap up the show. That's enough. They did show him in the stands on Sunday because he was on the big screen.
Did you have a
we
beat
saw
to him?
we saw Fireman Ed cheer up the fans.
Did you have a beat to get yourself ready for that situation?
No, I was just excited to see the Jets on the big screen.
What it was 30-9?
I don't care.
Really, you don't care?
Well, I was there just to see what Zach was doing.
All right, let's recap your free money teaser. You won last week, so now you're giving out 2. Now, once again, you're 4-12 on the season and 13-96 lifetime. So Thursday, Saturday, you have Chargers, Cleveland, and New England money line parlay. That's plus 765. So that would make you almost up to, that would put you above even for the year in terms of actual money. So that'd be nice. A 6.5 point teaser with Houston, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and New Orleans. A 4-team 6.5 point teaser.
That's exactly it. Plus 230. Let's get rolling this week, folks. I'm on a heater, like Geoff started.
It's Tim Sember. It's Tim Sember.
Let's press. Let's press.
He's not worried about that lifetime hundo staring him in the face.
It's going to come sooner or later, so let's just not worry about it.
No, let's get there quick. Let's get it over with quicker. I feel like is what he's getting at.
Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Let's just keep going.
All right, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. I would like to thank Geoff for being on the line. I would like to thank the Coin for being in studio, and of course, I would love to thank Paul for switching the cameras. That nice. Also, Tim and the Cust.
Tim and the Cust.
That is not my name.
Heard it was. Many people are saying these things.
A lot of people are saying the opposite. A lot of people are saying that actually your name is Pat Mayo Cust. That's what I've been hearing.
I've never heard that.
Can you give me the names of these people? Please tell me.
No, I like a journalist, I need to keep my sources secret. But that's what the people are saying.
Why
your burner account?
Why are you making stuff up, Tim?
No, I'm not. A lot of people are walking around saying, "Oh, I know you from Pat
Show
Mayo."
one message that says that.
Yeah.
I'll do no such thing.
Give us a name.
It doesn't exist.
Give us a name.
No, won't do it. Can't do it.
Even just show us screen grab that you can like color out their name.
Oh, he doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah, but I don't think it exists. I don't think he's ever received that message one time.
We'll get some right now because now that we've said it on the show, we have the Tim Hive out there. It's like Beyonce's Hive. The people who just ride or die with Tim no matter what.
And remember, folks, when the votes come up for that award show, you know who to vote for most.
Yeah, remember the guy that's angry when... I mean,
Don't forget to vote Geoff.
Your big thing about me is that I got angry when I just wanted ketchup and cheese on a burger and the guy couldn't walk it to the door because I didn't have a mask.
I don't know. You screaming at that kid at the card store was probably even worse.
What did I do at the card store again? I can't even remember.
And you wanted those sleeves, and they didn't have them for you.
Oh, they were...
See?
I don't want to talk about that experience.
Well,
yeah,
I'm just
Geoff.
For
Geoff,
2021, I can get in trouble for that experience.
Yeah, Geoff, here's the thing. And Tim should be in jail, but he's not somehow. But I didn't put this out on Twitter because people were too sad about it. We're at the end of the show now. We can mention it here. Tim, why don't you tell the people what I'm about to tell everyone?
No, I'm not going to say anything.
What were you watching the night before Demaryius Thomas died?
No.
Super Bowl 48 highlights when he broke the all-time record for receptions in a Super Bowl. But that was just coincidence. They had mentioned on the Manning cast the day or so before, which is why I went to go watch those highlights.
Oh, you're trying to pass off everything onto the Mannings now, are you?
No, but that's why I was watching the highlights of that game. Anyway.
I lost a lot of money on that Bronco Steeler, like that famous DT touchdown from Tebow.
Oh, I won a lot of money on that one. I bet on Tebow. Tebow won me so much money that year. It was incredible because everyone was just like, Tebow sucks, and it's true.
Yeah, I mean,
but I just kept
marks.
betting on him. I was like, no, he just keeps winning. Let's bet on him.
That was the mark.
Logic aside, let's bet on Tebow.
So like seeing that highlight like all weekend annoyed me, but yeah, that was really sad.
It was
a terrible story.
He was
terrible.
someone. It's funny because Demaryius Thomas was a player who, apparently, except for Tim, everyone really enjoyed. That
I liked him. I liked when the Jets got him last year. Whatever. I was excited to have him on board.
Yeah, by all accounts, he was also like a genuine good guy.
Yeah,
he was. I loved him. He was a staple of my fantasy team for years. I always loved DT.
Oh my God, Tim. Staple of your fantasy team for years?
Yeah, not the year that he had like 1,000 touchdowns from Manning, but after that year, I had him quite a bit.
When he was old and on the Jets?
Well, that too.
You did have him when he was on the Jets. I do remember that. But yeah, I thought I'd throw that out there for the people. And Rob might be able to add that to the Custies as most murdered this year. Although that's a very competitive category in 2021.
No, it's not.
I mean, was the Control X guy this year or last year?
Last year.
So it was the Subway guy this year. Sean Connery this year. Or was that last year?
Last year.
There's another one too. There's three.
The
Subway
fellow who played Omar
on The Wire. No, we actually never brought that one up publicly either because people were way too sad
the horse.
about that one. Oh yeah, the horse that you just killed from the Belmont Stakes.
I didn't kill him. I picked him to win the Preakness, and then he passed away the other day from a heart condition.
Well, you can go all through these on the Custy Awards. I believe voting is going to be open next week, Geoff. Are you scared?
No, I
wouldn't
think
be.
just people need to vote with reason and like sense. Like I'm working through some things.
If I knew how to do Photoshop, I would just have a photo of me holding a sign, the vote for Pedro sign, and just have it say vote for Geoff.
You know, I've got my things and I'm work through them and we'll talk through them, but I feel like he takes it to a whole new level. So it's up to the people now, I guess. Voting opens soon.
Do you think that Cam will beat Pizzola in Most Crazy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cam left eggs on his floor for multiple days. Being busted.
So we'll see who wins between Geoff and Tim, who wins between Cam and Rob. And really,
oh no, Cam's got to be on the ballot with Geoff and
It's
I.
a very
he's
different.
not. Cam is not on the ballot. You have nothing to do with Cam. You don't appear on shows with Cam.
I occasionally.
No, not this year.
Not this year yet, but I mean, we have in the past.
Yeah, no, he's not on the ballot with you. It's you versus Geoff versus me versus Paul.
Well, I feel like we should get Cam and Paul.
Why is that? We need to see who's the craziest of the show. We all do the show together.
Hold on, though. I would say the category you need, if I could make one suggestion, I think it needs to be a Cam versus Tim, but it's like a who's the true man of the people from Mayo Media Network.
Cam wins that 99%.
Yeah, of course. But Tim considers himself a true man of the people, but he's Tim too rich.
Yeah.
You know, Cam is like, Tim doesn't check prices. Cam is literally the guy you see like
switching the stickers,
scarfing through that meat locker for the best expiry date. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tim's the guy who, as he just admitted to, brings Lysol wipes to an ATM and wipes it down before he takes out money. I'm surprised. I'm surprised he doesn't just hire someone to go get his money for him.
No, they're all germy. That's why I don't want to touch a germy keypad that God knows who touched before me.
Yeah, you have to update your passbook also, like an 80.
Those don't exist anymore. They took them away from me a couple of years ago.
And did you freak out, or you
I
said
was
your grandma
unhappy
and
about
freak
it.
out for you?
I was very unhappy about it. My grandmother was also very upset about it. We talked about it once during our weekly calls.
See, you don't think you're as crazy as your grandma, but you're 50 years younger than your grandma. Think about you in 50 years.
I don't know there'll be much of a difference.
Oh no, it gets a lot worse from here. That's the scary part.
Is your grandma's weekly call like you guys just bitching about society, incorporate like just standard changes that are happening?
That there are definitely segments of our call where we complain about stuff like that. Yes.
All right, I think that's enough for this week. We're going to have some special shows for you over the holiday season. We're going to come out a little bit, same time next week, although the newsletter will come out and the show will be in it a little bit earlier than you're probably used to, if we can get on coordination with that. We have to record some majors previews. We got some stuff to do here before the holiday season kicks in, but we're not going to miss any of the shows because I'm going to be at home for the first time in ages in my studio over Christmas time. So I'm going to be able to record the entire time. So we'll have our week 17 and week 18 picks. Unless, Geoff, are you going on a cruise again this year or something?
I don't go on a cruise, but I'm going away. But I'll be able to record. Me and my wife are going away our first time with our kids. I am excited.
Where are you going?
Florida.
Are you going to? You're gonna tell me you're not going? Like, yeah, I left the kids at home so I could go to Disneyland. You're not a creep like that, are you?
No, we're not. No, we left the kids at home, but we're not. No, just a nice few days in Palm Beach.
That actually sounds quite nice. I'm envious.
Yeah, but I will. My wife asked me, "Are you doing any work while we're going to be gone?" I said, "No work, but I'm gonna my Tuesday with Pat." So that's it.
Listen, Tuesdays with Pat isn't great, but it's better than Tuesdays with Maury because that just sounds like a real bummer.
Agreed.
Tim, did people get that reference?
I think so. It's a very famous book.
When did that book come out?
I don't know. Which album? I would say it probably came out 2002, 2003, something like that. But it's still a very famous book.
Are you back before or after New Year's, Geoff?
Before.
Okay, so we're gonna Monday the 3rd. We're gonna record golf.
Yeah,
first
crazy,
event,
but
event of the year. And we have the draft. We should probably tease that too. We're doing the draft tomorrow night. We're recording that with 10 people. It's gonna be a fucking shit show.
Yeah, I'll be staying out of the way and waiting to be called upon, I guess.
Yeah, well, we'll have an order to go in, but then you and Wiley will start just yelling at each other, and we got the tour junkies, both of them on the line, so it's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's going to turn into, I think it's going to be great, though. I don't know what it's going to turn into, but it's going to turn into greatness.
I hope so. We'll probably make it into 2 parts so I can fill up some slots. Anyway, that will do it for the Pat Mayo Experience today. Thursday, DraftKings. Friday, Best Bets. Injury Show on Saturday. And the Dogger Pass podcast. UFC comes out on Wednesday evening, the last UFC card of the year. So if you want to make some money, you didn't last week, but maybe you will this week on the Dogger Pass podcast. Highly recommend it. Smash a like on the way out, sub to the network, newsletter, all that jazz. I will see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!